Pick the Nintendo Shack and pray. Frederick from Fire Emblem Awakening says, yo.
Welcome to this week's episode of the Nintendo Shack Podcast, episode 369, Drop the Pre-Orders. I don't know about y'all, but I'm getting like super anxious, not just to play the Switch 2, but like, man, I want my pre-order. Donnie, I know you're feeling the same way.
Yeah, I'm jonesing. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know when they're going to open. I think we've got questions and thoughts about that, but
it's like all I think about sometimes. Like I can't focus at work. I want to think about like the Nintendo Switch 2. I just want to like know that I have it. I did sign up for the Nintendo Switch Online pre-order wait list, but like that's not my first choice because I don't know if I'm getting it day one if I order from there.
That is the big factor. Several of our members of the Discord during all of the panic and hysteria ordered Switches from the UK. Ooh. And so far, their orders have not been canceled. I had the opportunity to do it, but I think the first delivery was like June 15th, and I was like, absolutely not.
Oh, no.
Absolutely not.
I don't think it'll come to that. I don't think we're going to have to import.
I hope you were right, but I do not. We'll see. I have an interesting question, thought experiment. Do you think all of this news, all of this mania regarding the Switch 2, the price, the anger, but then the tariffs, the price could go up, like the panic, it could go up, it could be $800, it could go up later. Do you think that panic will push people into pre-ordering at launch more than they were before?
Yes.
Yeah, right.
I definitely do. I think people are going to go rush towards this as soon as possible, not only because of the tariffs and everything that's come with the pre-orders and stuff, but the fact that they think that it might not just be around. Because so many people like this thing's been on the news.
It's quite a roller coaster we've been on where like it was unveiled, the price was shown, everybody hated it, said they weren't going to order it, and then Nintendo was
They're all liars.
No, of course they are, but then Nintendo hit them with the now you can't order it.
Yes.
And
now you can't have it.
And you've got NBC being like, it could be $900, and CNBC and Fox News, and they're talking about tariffs and bonds, and we're looking at graphs that, and like anytime you get fear, like that causes action. And I'm wondering when they do drop this thing, if people are like, you better order it now before you don't have the chance.
It's possible that they would raise the price after launch, do you?
I absolutely do.
Yes,
really?
They would.
100%. Yeah,
PlayStation did it.
Yeah, like that's already been done, and I mean it's out of their control. I mean ultimately it's out of their control. It's not like people won't understand that, but again, that's not Nintendo's like cross to bear. If the tariffs go up or whatever down the road, they have to they're not just going to siphon off their wealth to America just because, like they would have to. And also, I feel like that might have, for all the hate that Nintendo is getting online, I feel like when those pre-orders go live, I think everybody's in for a rude awakening.
Yes. Also, to add to Donnie's point, since all these news media outlets have been saying $800, $900, if they come in at $600, people are going to jump at it. They're going to jump.
That's what our interaction, Donnie, the other day was like when they revealed it. Everybody was saying, drop the price. And now people are probably screaming, keep the price. Keep the price.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's almost like, it's like the negative news cycle may have helped them. And I know that's a crazy thing to say, but like, I'm wondering if it's true. And like, we won't know until we see the pre-orders.
There's just also so much misinformation. I don't know if we're going to touch on that, but like the misinformation out there is insane.
Yeah. It's because that is Nintendo's fault.
It is.
Yeah, that is Nintendo's fault.
They gave us a new Nintendo Today app that has the direct communication from Nintendo to our phones, that they have the ability to like straighten everything out, and they're not using it for that.
No, it's Alarmo.
It's a mess of a message.
Yeah.
They've muddied, this message is so complex and convoluted where everything is a different price, and some things have extras and some don't, and the price changes depending on where you are. It's like, it's just not a clean message at all. Like, there's nothing simple, clean. There's no like elevator pitch to it, right? There's no like one-liner, like switch to, here's what you need to know.
I
Like,
want to know why this happened. Like, why? Like, it doesn't have to. I know there's a whole lot of stuff going on in the world right now, but like that's contributing to it. But I feel like this is like an inevitable cycle for them. Like the Wii had clean messaging, had clear marketing. The Wii U didn't. The Switch had clear marketing, clear expectations, clear messaging. The Switch 2 does not. Why does this keep happening? Shouldn't they have learned?
I think that it's twofold. I think one, a big part of it is their fault, and two, I don't think they knew the marketing of it, because I think they knew tariffs was coming.
Yeah.
I didn't think they knew how soon, how much it was going to cost them, and they're still trying to figure that part out. Like, okay, especially when you see these crazy numbers for tariffs coming out, people don't understand what that means. We're like, oh, we're going to charge China 125% in tariffs. Like,
oh my God,
like, that's not even a number. Like, what's going on here? Yeah. So when people don't, when you have all this messaging going on, I think it's a lot. It's frankly speaking.
Sorry to interrupt you. Yarden is kind of, that's what I've been alluding to. He feels like after all that's happened, I feel like I'm stealing the Switch to a 450.
Yep.
Honestly, it almost feels intentional, like for reasons, like just hold it away from them, and it'll make them, like, the demand has honestly just gone up since they said you can't pre-order on the 9th. Now everybody's like freaking out, like Rebecca, when can I pre-order? Like, I'm going to pre-order immediately. We've got people ordering from other countries.
It wasn't supposed to be like this. It was supposed to be easy to secure the pre-order.
Yeah.
Everyone hated it, so let me get it day one.
That's why I was freaking during the direct that pre-orders didn't go live. That's why I was freaking when they were like, it's a week from now. I was like, I need to maximize this opportunity right now while everybody is super angry. Let me in.
Yeah.
Please let me in.
Frankly speaking, we are now in the age of disinformation. And
that's been the case.
And it's not even just with politics anymore. It's in every aspect of our lives. You hear,
like, it shouldn't be that way. Like,
but it is now.
I know.
It just is. You have one article about Nintendo, then you have 20 different counter articles with a bunch of bullshit, and then you're like, oh, we don't know what to believe.
Well, hang on. A lot of it's not bullshit. A lot of it's true. Mario Kart is $90 in some places. Right?
But there's context to it.
Of course. It's just like yesterday, the exemption that came out for the tariffs. Everybody's like, Switch is safe. Switch isn't included. Like, I had to rain on people's parade yesterday. I looked up the tariff. I was in tariff code yesterday, trying to find the code for video game consoles, which I found. I was like, listen, I clearly identify these, and they are not included.
The average person isn't doing that.
No, God, no. The above average person isn't doing that. I think I'm the 2% of people that are doing that.
2% is generous. I would say 0.2%.
Yes, but people just see the big headline and they go for that. But that's
of course,
what it is now.
Of course. But again, that is Nintendo's fault. And to go back to that original question, Rebecca, I think I'm kind of jumping. We're kind of stomping on top of our news segment.
I know.
But I called BS the moment Doug Bowser was like, "These prices don't include tariffs." I just called BS.
100%.
I think
Anybody can say that.
It's evident. It's evident throughout. It's how they've tried to smooth throughout, and it's evident by their own pricing in Japan. Like, it's clearly that. So I think what they did is they saw the looming threat of tariffs. It looks like to be a long-going threat for at least 4 years. And I think they said, how do we make that up across the life cycle of this? And the prices are reflective of that. So I think that's a part of it. The other part of it is, I think Nintendo, sitting on a mountain of money, sitting on 50, 60, 40, 30 million copies of games sold, sitting on top of 150 million Switches sold, said, okay, like, we have secured this market, and now we're going to maximize the profit from it. And I think both of those things are what got us here with this messaging.
To be honest, why would Doug Bowser say, oh, no, we didn't include it? Why would he say something like that?
I 100% think he was, and this is just the thought I was saving for our news segment. I 100% think what he's doing is he's softening the blow if they had to increase the price.
Exactly.
I
So,
don't
see,
think he's
all
doing a
that
very
was.
good job of it, and I'll save.
Oh,
my
he's doing a
thoughts-
terrible job.
yeah.
I'll save my thoughts for when we get to that news topic.
Yeah, he's doing a terrible job. I'm wondering if we ever hear from Doug Bowser again.
I just think about Reggie. I'll talk about it when we get
Yeah,
there.
we'll save it.
Um,
What are you playing?
I am. I don't know if I should do this or not. Maybe somebody can either encourage me or talk me out
Do
of
it.
it. You don't even know what it is yet.
It doesn't
Well,
matter.
You're probably gonna say don't do it.
We're
So,
pro do it here at PSVG and Shaq.
Yes,
We are
like
pro
Nike.
do it.
I can't stop thinking about Mario Kart World. I literally cannot stop thinking
Okay.
about it. I'm like eating all the footage. I'm like Mario Kart, and I'm like I want to be good at Mario Kart on day one. By the time I get there and I'm racing against 23 other people, I'm not trying to be in 24th place. Okay, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So most like 99% of what I've played of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is just online battles because that's like the most fun. And so I am right now trying to get the gold trophy, 3 gold stars in all of the Grand Prix Cups. And right now I'm doing it with 150cc because that's what I like to play as. And like that'll be fine. I'll be able to do that. But like, should I also go do that in like 200cc, 100cc, 50cc mirror mode, like all of them? Like that's replaying all the same courses a lot of
100% you
times
should.
in like different speeds. Like,
100% you should. And here's my case. One,
am I going to
you
get
love
burnt out of Mario Kart? Am I going to get burnt
Yes.
out?
Yes.
Yes.
You love Mario Kart way more than us, I think, right? Delvin?
Absolutely.
Yeah, way more than us. 2, it's really good practice for Mario Kart World. So when you jump in on June 5th, you're just going to be fucking wrecking fools. And I'm cool with that because I just want to be the Moo Moo. And I don't mind being in 16th place. I'm just going to be Moo Moo. Like, I'm going to be looking at stuff. Like, can I get up there? Can I grind on that? Meanwhile, I'm in last place. like everybody's just racing to the end. And I'm like, I'm trying to see the game, guys, that spent 8 years making all this stuff. But yes, like have you dug into like the Mario Kart World, like, I don't know, analysis? Have you found secrets and hit? Because I haven't really looked at it at all. I don't want to say I'm not hyped because I definitely am hyped. It's just, I know it's different. I know it's open world, but to me, it is just Mario Kart. So I'm like, I'm going to love it. It's Mario Kart. Like, I don't really need to see a whole lot.
My friend has been doing YouTube video comparisons of like the original track versus the Mario Kart World track, like the side by side through the whole track. Like he's found footage of like people on the hands-on events playing these tracks and like doing like side by side.
See, I haven't done anything like that.
Yeah, and like it just looks so good. Like it's gorgeous. The visuals, all the changes, like almost all of the tracks are
Digital
like
Foundry said there
improved.
might be a 120 FPS mode in that game.
Ooh.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
So like it's just like I'm really pumped for it. I am excited. I just don't want to be burned out.
I could tell when I talked to you about the character select screen. You had so many thoughts about the character select screen, and I was like, cool, big avatars. like I'm not really looking at it with a magnifying glass at all. The only thing I really needed to see, like I kind of turned my brain off when I saw the Donkey Kong level with like the risers and shit that I was like, I am all fucking in. Like this
that
is
looks
it.
good. Yeah,
that looks so good.
That looks so good.
Is there like stuff to do in the world that isn't the races? I've yet to see that like confirmed or not.
I don't think
Feels like
so.
they're
I think
holding
it's
on
driving
to it.
around. Yeah, maybe there will be something.
I feel like they're
right?
holding on to it, but you would think after all their hands-on, somebody would have been like, I found something. And I don't know, but like I can't imagine that there's nothing. Like their whole point is free roam. I can't imagine there's nothing for you to do out there besides take photos. Like that would be really boring.
I think there will be like a lot of little Easter eggs and like cool things that reference other Mario games and things like that people will be like posting on social media. Like, hey, look, there's a reference to this obscure Mario game from 30 years ago.
Yeah, I'm not trying to make it like a Forza clone or like The Crew, but like to justify the map in the world, like you gotta have something to do out there, something to collect, something to smash, something to do.
$2 Hero brings up a great point. We have the Mario Kart Direct on Thursday. I forgot about that.
No, yeah, I was thinking
17th.
I was thinking that might be when they open pre-orders, but I've got thoughts on that, both good and bad.
I think
I mean,
that'll
we could do
always
it now.
answer questions about like what there is to do in the open world.
That's what I was hoping for. I was hoping something like that they would, with the direct, they would show us some more. I mean, why have a whole direct just to show us the same stuff they've shown us? They played that game for like 4 hours. There's got to be something else to it.
Yeah.
I saw a Blue Sky post that said, what if like the map can hold like a certain amount of players, and like what if in free roam like you can attack people, and like that's the battle mode. It's like kind of
create your own game,
like a battle royale type thing. You can
Yeah.
you can like red shell people in the open world.
That sounds fun. I think you can do that. I think they did show that.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
My thoughts on Thursday was, I was talking about this yesterday in the Discord. I was wondering if Thursday would be the day that they would open pre-orders. I think it's probably a really good guess that Thursday's the day they announce when they're going to open pre-orders. Like, I really hope they would be before that, but they have this direct, so they could just throw like, a screenshot at the end that says pre-orders open on whatever day. It would give them an opportunity to kind of get some positive energy back.
Yeah.
The double side of that coin, though, is when they go to start that direct, is the chat flooded with drop the price shit again? And does that take over? And do you risk the chance of that taking over, becoming the story again?
Well, if they did it in the very beginning, there's going to be a bunch of people that tune in the middle of it that miss it and will be screaming that anyway.
Yeah.
Listen, Shaq. Now, if you're super pissed about the price, you go tell them to drop the price. But if you're not, and you're tired of this, and you want them to drop the pre-order, then we have to put it out there for all the Shaq Nation to go in there and flood that chat with drop the pre-orders. Okay? Like, you have to be the change you want to see in the world. So, we will see. I hope that we will get more positive cycles going for this thing soon, because I'm jazzed and Jones. Like, it sucks anytime you're excited for something.
Cycle. I don't want people to pre-order this. I want to be the only one pre-ordering.
I'm also hoping, like a fool's hope, that they just have like 10 million of these things here by June 5th, and like there's enough to go around. Like, that's what I'm really hoping for.
I think they're going to be afraid to say something on Thursday because they don't know if our world leader is going to change his words again, and like
that's true.
Like,
but
he's
they're running
so
out of time.
unpredictable.
They're running out of time. Like, even now, they're running out of time. If you want to launch on June 5th, you have got to get to retailers what their allotments are. And I think that's probably the delay now, is they're probably trying to figure out like where they're moving units and how many. But you've got to let retailers know how many pre-orders they can take. Like, you can't just launch June 5th. I don't think that would be, that would be something. What if they just don't do pre-orders in the States? They're like, hey, get out to Targets.
Oh my God.
No, they're not going to do that. So yeah, they've got to get this started, because we're not that far away. It is what, April 13th?
13th.
Yeah, we are not that far away. So they've got to get a move on.
That's crazy. It's just like, we never could have predicted this a couple months ago.
No, we could have predicted this a week ago. Like, for everything that has happened, I've said it on every show, and I'm going to keep saying it because I don't feel like anybody else is saying it enough. I am shocked that this is the existence that we live in for Switch 2. Like, stunned. Absolutely blown away. I never could have predicted this. I thought Switch 2 was the easiest slam dunks of slam dunk console launches that you could ever imagine. They were going to roll out a Switch 2. They were going to talk about how powerful it was, how the screen was better or bigger, and all that stuff, all the stuff that we've known about, all the leaks, right? Mouse mode. I never imagined that we would get games at 120 frames, that they'd talk about 4K. That is above and beyond anything I could ever imagine. So I would have thought, if you had told me 2 weeks ago, Rebecca, if you said, hey, Donnie, the new Nintendo Switch is going to run games at 120 frames a second. It's going to have 4K 60 modes. Cyberpunk and Elden Ring is going to be on it. There's an exclusive from. I'm like, oh my God, they fucking nailed it. And in the wake of all of that news, that is very good, it is a complete nightmare. It is on fire. And like the internet reaction to everything Nintendo right now is super negative. When you go out there and say anything I'm excited for game. I can't wait for the Switch 2, and you will be hit with.
Yep, you're gonna be dragged down.
Don't do it. Don't pre-order. That's bullshit. Don't like everybody hates it. Like it's crazy. The but that is the internet, right? That's what the internet does. They love to latch onto a negative thing more than a positive thing anyway. So I believe, like you, I think once the pre-orders go live, this all kind of goes away and everybody gets excited about trying to buy one. So
we have a group chat, me and my friends, and we did like a poll, like who's pre-ordering day one, who's waiting, and all of us did pre-ordering day one, and one person said I'm thinking about waiting, and we're all just like shunning that person and like
I don't think any of our regulars in Shack Discord have told us that they're not getting one.
Yeah.
We have a few people that are like, I'm not getting one, but there were people that I don't think would get one or would wait on it anyway. Like Nintendo isn't their main choice.
Right.
I think all of our Shack regulars, they're like, I can't wait to order one. Like
makes sense.
We're hitting for like a damn crack hit. Delvin, we're like, somebody give it to me.
I just think that when it comes to this system, people are going to want to pre-order it and not going to get it. And there's going to be a lot of buyer's remorse because they're going to see everybody else playing on June 5th and like, oh.
So like anti-buyer, like not buyers remorse, like
yeah.
opposite of
anti-buyer
buyers.
FOMO.
Yeah.
FOMO, yeah.
There you go. Thank you. Because I feel like this thing is not, it's going to be very hard to get. See? Y'all done said it.
I'm hoping that it's, this is a fool's hope. This is just hopium, but I'm hoping it's not hard to get. I'm hoping that they've talked a lot about how many units they're making. And in the light of everything that's happened, I'm hoping that somebody smarter over there is like, more. We need to send more right now.
Yeah.
And when we get into our news, I'll talk a bit more about that. But like, I'm hoping that they're sending a lot here. Because they can't sell 100 million in a day or a year. Like the demand isn't that. The demand isn't that high. But the demand might be 20 million, and that's a lot. Like that might be year one demand.
Well, then there's the age old, are they going to, try to create false demand or, perceived demand by making it hard to get one so that
I think that's what they just did. That's what scares the shit out of me. I think that's what they just did when they're like, now you can't pre-order. That's exactly what they did.
Yeah.
They recreated demand. You can't have one. Now I kind of want one.
Yeah, because all you gotta do to get somebody to want something is tell them they can't have it.
100%. Like it was the worst thing that could have happened for us.
Yeah, because we had been seeing our European friends getting pre-orders.
I saw our American friends getting European pre-orders. I saw our Canadian friends getting European pre-orders. I got folks ordering them in Australia.
Well, yeah, Canada's suffering too with us. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
I know Canada's like.
So play the Mario Kart, Rebecca.
Okay.
Long story short.
Okay.
Yeah.
Instead of playing something new.
Don't main it. Don't do 10 hours a day of Mario Kart. But I think if you have like this goal, do like a cup or a course a day.
Okay.
Anything else?
I'm watching Josh play Life is Strange 1. I'll keep this short because I know we want to talk about
for the first time.
Yes, he just finished episode 2.
First ever time? He's never played this game at all?
Correct.
Why?
I wonder what his thoughts are on it so far.
Well, I don't know.
I wonder why he never played it.
Why would he? It's not a game that's ever really been on his radar to prioritize. He's playing it off stream, so I'm just watching him. We're playing it on our TV in bed. He just finished episode 2. Yes, and he saved Kate, so I don't have to break up with him.
Nice.
Good.
I've done both. Every time I've played that game, I played it 3 times. Every time I played it, I've tried to do it differently.
Yeah. It's like funny, like watching him like talk through things because like obviously I know all the twists. He doesn't know all the twists and stuff. And like just hearing him talk through things. I love watching people play it for the first time because they don't know. And it's like interesting to hear their thought process. Like, did they think about it the same way I did? Did they think about it differently? It's just so refreshing.
Yeah.
I'll talk about that, again when he's done the game, but I just wanted to throw that out there. That's it for me.
Now
I'm muted because Jack walked in here. I'd love to hear his thoughts on 2 or Before the Storm and 2. If he's going to keep going.
Yeah.
Specifically 2.
Keep going.
I think he would be interested in 2 because he has a little brother in real life.
Oh, so that makes a lot of sense. I just think, like I've said 1,000 times, I think 2, when you can play it in one chunk versus 14 months or whatever it took, I think it
and that would be a great way for me to revisit that game because I don't remember it as much as I remember 1.
Yeah, no, I meant that makes sense because we just got, like, I feel like were episodes delayed or they just scheduled out like that? I feel like we had a delay in there somewhere.
Probably.
I think there was a delay.
It just took a while, you know? And the episodes are also, like, different. Like, they're very different. It's like a collection of short stories.
It really is because it's just a totally different scenario each time. You're not, like, revisiting a lot of the same characters.
It's not a continuation.
Yeah. Maybe someday they'll bring back Max in a future game. He saw that in my library. He saw Double Exposure and he was like, well, how was this one? And I was like, it's complicated. We'll talk about that when you're done the others.
Yeah, when you grow up a little bit.
You have to let me know, Jess. Yuki qualified 10th. I'd love for him to get points, but the Red Bull does not look great in Bahrain. So not hope there. Sorry to interrupt, guys.
It's okay. Tell us what you're playing.
I am playing a lot of things. I am still playing Rift of the Necrodancer, and I got to tell you, it's getting too hard. It's getting very difficult. But I do like it a lot. I was hanging out with a stream with Sean, and he picked up Bust a Move on the eShop, which is one of my favorite games. There's like 3 or 4 different versions of Bust a Move and Puzzle Bobble on the eShop. This particular version I didn't have, so I bought it, and I played a lot of Bust a Move. But the only thing that I really want to talk about is I took the 9th off to pre-order the console. What I did was I moved on a doctor's appointment that I had for the 8th to the 9th. And I was like, I'll just take the day off for my doctor's appointment and then I'll go pre-order the console. So when they got rid of the console pre-orders, I had this day off with nothing to do. And in preparation of the Switch 2, as we talked about last week, I have sold some things. I have raised some money. And I, with a heavy heart, have to come tell you that I have canceled my Analog 3D pre-order. On the positive side of that, because I'm now not waiting for this system to come whenever it's going to arrive, I was like, well, there's really no point in pushing off playing any of these 64 games at all. I might as well play these now. So Wednesday, I sat on my love seat that I bought for my basement, and I played nothing but Nintendo 64 games for like 9 hours. It was a great day. I beat Zelda The Missing Link.
Oh yeah, I saw that you posted screenshots of that. That's a pretty popular ROM hack, right?
Yeah. That was pretty cool. It's pretty short. I had to look up a guide because I couldn't figure out what I was doing. I kept walking in the same circle like 10 times. I spent an hour just trying to figure out what to do. And I was like, God, what am I not doing? Like, I must not be in the right area. So I went to a completely different area and couldn't go anywhere. And I came back and I looked up a thing, and apparently this dungeon, or this, I guess we call it like this dungeon that you have to do. It's a one-way dungeon, so you essentially can only get in through this one door and then go to the bottom. But once you go down, you can't go back up. You have to go all the way to the bottom, back out, walk all the way back around, and go all the way back to the top and come all the way back down again. There is a switch under a box in one of those rooms.
Oh, and if you missed
that I did not know, and I missed it, and I just kept going down and walking around and kept going down. But once I figured it out, it's a pretty quick beat. You could beat it in 2 or 3 hours. It's pretty neat. It felt like, honestly, I wouldn't call it like an expansion or DLC because it's not that, I don't know, like formalized, cohesive, polished. But it does feel like maybe something. It felt like something that like maybe they cut out of the game. Almost like we wanted to do this, but we didn't get to it sort of thing, because it's not very long. There's not a lot of exposition. There's not a lot of story there. But it is kind of cool playing something new, Ocarina of Time, like that's really new, that the environments are new, all the characters are new. They react to you differently. You've lost Navi. The whole plot of the game is there's this character who's stealing all the fairies. And you are charged by Saria to go and defeat them and bring the fairies back. So when you're talking to the Kokiri in the forest, you don't have a fairy. They're making fun of you. This one chick was like, maybe Mido was right about you. I was like, this bitch. Like, how dare you say that to me? I love that they added new mechanics to the game. So you get the bunny ears, you get to run really fast, you get a sword where and jump really far. That's like the cool thing. You get to like do this fucking incredible Hulk jump. But the Kokiri sword that you get does the blast when you have full health. You can shoot the blast out like a projectile.
Oh, I love that.
So it almost plays like Ocarina of Time, almost like a shooter, which was really cool. Really cool. But I'm glad that I got to experience that. And then I've just played a bunch of N64 games. I played a couple wrestling games. I played Blitz. I played Wave Race. I don't even remember all of them. I just kept going through them.
All your carts.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just going through my carts. I want to know. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do next. I have this itch to like do 64 again, but do it like the whole thing. I haven't beaten Mario 64 in ages. It's been a long time. And I feel like that would be a lot of fun to do. And like, I don't really have a whole lot that I'm waiting on, right? Because I've kind of like scheduled all like my year for video game. Like everybody else they're playing Assassin's Creed Shadows and Blueprints, and these are game of the years, right? Monster Hunter, and it's going to be just like last year, Rebecca. I feel like I just looked at actually yesterday. I Googled best games of the year so far, and I want to shout out, I think GameSpot had the article I was looking at, and there were 15 games on that list that I haven't played at all. Not a single one of these games do I want to play. And I feel like we're going to do our end of the year show, and I feel like my year doesn't start kind of until the Switch 2 comes out.
Same.
Yeah, so it's like I'm just sitting in this window where there are things I could play. Like I could play South of Midnight. I could play Assassin's Creed if I want to.
We just don't have that itch to right now.
Yeah, I just don't really want to right now. So I'm thinking of maybe rolling 64. I also thought about Mission Impossible. I didn't finish my GoldenEye. I kind of left GoldenEye like halfway, so I may finish that out. But I think that's probably what I'll do for maybe at least April until the itch comes back. I think I'm just going to sit around and play 64 stuff.
I like it.
I told my wife I Friday at work, I had like the worst senioritis. I was sitting at work and I was like, I hate it here. Because that Wednesday, I'm definitely like TMI, too much information. But that Wednesday night, we had a nice dinner. Wife and I had a nice time. So Friday, I was like, this is all I want to do. She's like, what? I was like, I want to like get toasted, play N64, and like bang you. Like, that's it. Like, I don't want to do any of this other stuff.
You've achieved a perfect life.
I was like, I don't want to do it. I was at work Friday, like literally hating that I was there. Like in the biggest way, I was like, I hate everything about this place. I might get fired. I was like, I got to get out of here. Like I felt tangibly, I was like, I've got to get out of here.
Yeah.
So it was a really, really good day. Fun week.
Nice. Good stuff. Delvin?
Now let's get to the news.
No.
Yes.
No. Tell
Yes.
us about you.
No, I'm fine. It's been a rough day. I had to
Really?
go off with somebody. Yeah, it's been a rough day. Rough morning.
Oh.
Sorry to hear that.
Had to go off with somebody because they were being a dick. Well, multiple people.
I noticed you were being a little quiet. I wasn't sure if it was just sleepy or what.
No, I'm good.
Did you try your birthday presents?
No, I didn't yet. I have it right. I have one of them right here.
Damn
Thank you very much.
Oh.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna try it today. Actually,
I was
very
more excited
to
for
play.
your super cart.
I'm gonna try that next.
So
I'm scared to open this box. I'm like, should I even open
that cart that I mean, it's a reproduction box, not a. That cartridge that I sent you, I was under the impression it has a full ROM set on it. That's what
so it already has one on it.
I think so.
Okay, so I'm gonna try.
I think so. So I'd love for you to plug it in and see if like all the because if so, that's a full That's a Super Nintendo collection. That whole thing.
Dope.
So I still want you to buy the cartridges, but like the way that I do it, and I think the way I want to say collectors do it. I don't know if this is true or not. Like I have my N64 cartridges, but I don't really play them. I play off of my flash cart, and then I just have the cartridges for show.
That's actually smart. Yeah.
Because some of the cartridges, like the batteries go bad or the contacts aren't clean or they're old. So some of them don't work or, like you may have issues. So I just don't even mess with them.
That makes a lot of sense.
AliExpress is running an Easter sale Sunday. I think tomorrow and Sunday. Maybe today. Today's Sunday.
Today? Oh, yeah, today's Sunday.
Happy Passover, everybody.
Let me look at that actually. Because I have a cart full of N64 reproduction carts. that I'm waiting for, like they're supposed to go on sale. Coming
I
soon.
don't like reproduction carts.
It's
I'm fine with
15. I don't know how far this is off. Yeah, I don't either. Like, I'm kind of indifferent. Obviously, I'd love to have the originals. But what I'm trying to do at the moment is I bought these shelves for my N64 cartridges, like these little cases, and I have about 10 or so empty spots, and I'd like to just fill them up. I've basically got most of everything that I wanted, but there's a few that I don't have, and the reason I don't have them is that they are very expensive. So I'm thinking about just buying those on reproduction carts and just calling it a day. Like, I'll just get the 10 or so. It'll be a third of the price, and I can just put them in my cart. Like, I'm not going to use them anyway. I use the whatever the Crix cart. That's all I use anyway.
That's fair.
So I think I'm going to do that whenever those sales pop in.
Yeah, I need to go on AliExpress today and take a look at that.
Yeah, if you don't mind the cartridges and stuff, if you don't mind reproductions, then go give them a look. There's still a ton of Game Boy, 64, Super Nintendo stuff.
Yeah, I'm down for that. That sounds dope.
Cool.
Yeah, today's been interesting.
All right.
Hope it gets better for you, Delvin. That sucks.
Well, I'm not going out the house anymore day after this. Like, oh, no.
It'll be better. Play the games.
Yeah.
Play
That's what I'm going to use.
All right.
This is the best time to stay inside.
The Nintendo Switch 2 was delayed pre-orders were delayed in Canada. So our Canadian brethren got locked right into the same boat as us.
We're sorry, Canada.
We're sorry.
We're sorry.
It's not my fault. Fuck that.
Yeah, don't blame me.
I voted for the other person.
Yeah. But yeah, Agent Orange got Canada too. Quote, the PR post said, in order to align with the timing of pre-orders to be determined in the U.S., this date has now been shifted to an unspecified time. That makes sense for a couple reasons. One, if they're shifting allotments to North America, that would impact Canada. Yes. Two, I think a lot of people pointed out that if you opened pre-orders for Canada ahead of the U.S., there's a pretty good chance the U.S. would just buy out Canada's pre-orders. So
that is correct.
Probably smart that they didn't do that. But it sucks for Canada. Yeah. Since then, Trump had placed a 90-day pause on all tariffs. So this came at I save everybody the economics lesson, but he kept raising the prices for reciprocals. The stock market tanked. It seemed like they were ready to weather that storm. There's been a lot of talk about people maybe that was intentional, so a lot of people could make some money, and that's definitely a thing that happened. Yeah. But then the bond market started to tank, and that is our nation's debt and the value of our dollar as we sell U.S. bonds, and that is kind of like the backbone of our currency. And the moment that happened, the next day we got a 90-day pause on tariffs.
Yeah.
So I've got a bunch of stuff here. Before I read that, I want to keep going on this tariff thing. So the exemption that came out yesterday, in addition to the 90-day pause, there was an exemption that just came out. Exempt smartphones, computers, computer monitors, computer opponents, semiconductors. There's a whole list of stuff. That exemption is exempt from the tariffs. So even the 90-day pause, like, these things can just come and go freely. So I find this funny for two reasons. And I try not to get like super political, but if you've been reading any of this news or reaction, there's been a lot of Republican, talking heads talking about how we were going to bring back manufacturing for tablets and phones and like
just open up a plant in the United States. That's
they were actively
easy
saying like, hey, those things that we're building over there, we're going to build them here. And literally within the same week, they just exempted all of them.
Correct.
So
they're not going to do the motherfucking thing here.
Yeah, they're not doing any of that. That was funny. That is just a funny moment. But the gaming media, journalism, whatever we want to call them, they ran with this includes gaming consoles. That was just a thing that was going out yesterday morning. It doesn't. I looked into the tariff policy. I looked at the codes. I went and found the video game code. Like, they are not included. So that 10% that's across the board, that on Vietnam, even during the pause, that still is in place for the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, 10% is a lot better than 46%. I think Nintendo factored in maybe 10 or 20% into the Switch 2's price. So I think that is a positive development for us, but at the same time, subject to change, right? Like everything.
The whole thing is so stupid.
That is correct. That is correct. That is the right answer.
What are we doing?
It's nonsense. It's it's so unserious. So, all right. So we've got a couple of speculations. Customs data obtained by Bloomberg showed that the company has been importing 750,000 original Nintendo Switch console units from Vietnam, which were destined to the United States of America in February alone, suggesting that Nintendo is stockpiling millions of Switch 2s ahead of launch. Nico Partners and also an analyst firm that I've never heard of called DFC Intelligence, who I think was first. They say that with the tariffs on Vietnam temporarily reduced to 90 days, we expect Nintendo to eat the 10% tariff in order to keep the launch price at $450. However, the price could very easily increase if a higher tariff is added after 90 days. And ladies and gentlemen, that is your demand. Like that point, I feel like the moment these pre-orders go live, that'll be the point that the IGNs and everybody start to run with, is that if you don't order one now, it could get more expensive. And I expect that will fuel demand.
They need to be careful, because I feel like, eating the 10% or whatever it raises to could end up selling more consoles in the long run for them than raising the price and pricing people out of it, because they have the money to work with, and it's like you're kind of turning yourself into the bad guy when you increase the price later. Whereas I don't know, if you're making a smaller profit, but you're still making more of a profit than you would if you just raised it and people weren't buying it. You know what I mean?
I do.
I'm not marketing.
In this situation, it's just out of their hands. If the tariffs go up, they have to raise the price. Especially if it goes up a lot. Like if it went up 5%, I think they'd leave it the same. But if it goes back to 46%, they just that's insolvable. You can't do that.
Yeah.
So, but based on the news, based on that we have this limited window, Nintendo also this week delayed the Switch 2's launch in China, and that's probably for policy and regulation purposes. But I suspect, and I definitely don't think this is a novel thought, I suspect Nintendo is trying to maximize this window, and they are probably trying to send as many units as they can to the U.S. right now. Anything that they can get through that tariff. So I think the 10% is on Japan and Vietnam. So I'd imagine that they may be trying to take any Chinese units that they have and keep them for the domestic market and send everything else they have to America and Canada. Because I believe we make up for almost half of their sales. It's like between 35 and 45% of their total lifetime sales of Switch was this market.
It's a lot.
So yeah, I do wonder if would they even pull units from potentially other regions. Like maybe they pull production from things that they were maybe going to ship to Australia or the UK and divert, just to give us as much run as you can before they have to think about raising prices. Right. The difference between Nintendo and PlayStation's been on the market for some time now. They can stockpile and probably live for a minute. There's probably enough PlayStations here. They're good for a year or two. Nintendo won't have that luxury. They'll probably sell as many as they can send for a minute. So.
Donnie, what are the chances that the console releases on June? What is the release date? June 5th. In Japan, but it gets delayed for our region.
Had the tariff stayed in place, I thought there was a chance for that to happen. Now that this pause has happened, I don't think that's going to happen. It's a lot for Nintendo to just push the date. That's a ton of marketing, a ton of money spent, a ton of movement, a ton of.
Because that used to be the case where the consoles would release at different different times.
Last week, before the pause and everything, I was operating like that was on the table. Not the highest possibility, but possible. That they would just be like, you know what? The timing just isn't right for us. We're going to sit on it for a minute. I could have seen it. But now I think this window, and here's the other thing. The exemption came through once Apple and everybody got together and was like, hey, you can't do this. I expect an exemption will come through for consoles too. I expect the ESA and Nintendo and Microsoft and Sony, they'll get everybody together, and Valve, and they'll get in. They're just
and
not
then
on
there'll be an exemption for clothes and food
100%.
and everything else.
This is why I haven't been too, like over heels about this from the get-go, from when he started talking about, like, they did this in 2019. And a lot of these products that people buy a lot of, that the market is dependent upon, that are already made at razor thin margins. That's the important part. You can't just add tariffs to it and eat it. That'll bankrupt companies. I expected that they would get exemptions, and I think you've already seen it. I mean, a week ago, he said there will be absolutely no exemptions. Yeah. And then within a week, he gave the the largest majority an exemption.
So unpredictable. And this could change again tomorrow. He could say, actually, just kidding.
Yeah. So, we'll see. We will see how it pans out, but I don't think we're going to delay it. I think we're going to get an announcement for pre-orders, and I think they're going to get it in gear, but we'll see. Nintendo of America President Doug Bowser understands that consumers, quote, may not be able to afford the system. We believe that the pricing is appropriate for the value of the machine and the gameplay experience overall. We recognize that there are some people that may not be able to afford the Switch 2. That's why we wanted to make sure the other Switch platforms are available so people still have an opportunity to come into the gaming universe, be a part of the characters in these worlds.
Saying nothing would have been way better. You did not have to say this.
Yes.
Could you legitimately imagine Reggie Fils-Aimé standing there and saying those words? You might not be able to afford it. Sorry. That is wrong.
That is the Don Matrick, right? That parallel has been played over and over since this quote was edited. We've got a console for you. It's a 360. That is like the death nail of PR stock. Like, that was the worst possible answer to give. Yeah, you're right, Rebecca. Saying nothing would have been better. There's no good that comes out of it. Like, I understand what he thinks he's trying to do, and clearly this comment isn't like the same as the Matrick comment. Like, the intent was very different from both of those. But at the same time, it doesn't matter. The message is the same. You broke boys can just keep your current Switch.
Very wrong.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. You want people to be excited to buy the new thing. He should have pointed at GameStop. Like, hey, we've got partners that are offering really good trading credit. And you should have done something like that. This was a terrible way to go. This was absolute terrible answer. It's interesting. Doug Bowser's been here for a while now, right? He's been around. We don't really see him a lot. He's definitely not the figurehead that Reggie was. Yeah, that was my thought. I was like, I wonder how much more we see of Bowser after this. Maybe we see even less of him, because this was his time to shine. The company's under duress. People are flooding the chat. Everybody's mad. Let's send the guy out there. Let's get some talking points. Let's spin it. And he spun it right into the fucking dirt.
Yeah, he could shut the fuck up all the way with that shit. That's some bullshit.
I know that's not his job, being the president of the company and stuff. This isn't his job, but this is a big part of the job when you are the leader, right?
Yeah.
The figurehead. This is a big part of the job. This is the moment where you make your bones.
But then to add on to that, then just don't go out there and say anything. If you know that you're going to say something stupid, maybe don't do it.
This honestly feels like this would have been the one thing, if we were coaching him before the interview, this would have been the one thing that you would have been like, hey, don't say that.
Just right. You could just say no comment. No comment at this time. We're still figuring these things out.
Or you could say something like, we're exploring the best, value for the price that it is, or,
you could have cut it at the first sentence. The first sentence. We believe the pricing is appropriate for the value of the machine and the gameplay experiences it offers. That's it.
Yeah.
Done. Yeah. Marketing speak 101. You've done it.
Yeah. You don't have to talk about not being able to afford it, because that's directly your own doing.
Yeah. 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 That was pretty bad. And there's no way to spin it. Even as a Nintendo fan, it's like, dude, that was a fuck up of monumental efforts. That was really bad. And then as we talk about all the misinformation, all the buzz going around, you have a whole multiple days worth of headlines of Nintendo said you can just play your original Switch.
Don't you guys have jobs?
Yeah, pretty bad. Some
I'd
more
like
Doug
to see
Bowser.
what he makes. What's your salary, Mr. Bowser?
Look here.
A lot.
I knew.
I bet you
we
he can
should've got-
afford eggs. Doug Bowser salary.
I knew we should have got Ralph Gannon as president instead.
Ralph Cannon. Yarn says, see, this man hasn't said a word to us in 6 years, and he says this.
Doug
Yeah.
Bowser.
That's about it.
Worth.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Doug Bowser on pricing. He has more comments. So Doug says that tariffs did not directly impact the console's original price tag. Putting the April 2nd announcement aside, any previous tariffs were not factored into the price of the console itself. So again, I already said this at the top of the show. I call bullshit. I did the moment it happened. And there is a part of me that like wants to just say like, hey, you have to take the company at face value. Like I know there's a lot of people out there that say that they don't like the rumor speculation. They lie to us all the time. Like literally all the time.
It's their job to.
Constantly lie to us. So I think it's evident. The fact that the region lock model is so cheap, the fact that the build looks like they were really trying to get at a $399 price. You raise it for inflation, I understand. But at the same time, the games are up, not just $10, $20. The consoles are up, the controllers are up, everything is up. And I look at that as we realize that we're about to lose 20% of our lifetime total sales, so we're trying to find the 20% somewhere else. And notice how everything is up, 10 to 20%, everything.
I would almost wish that he would say, oh, yes, the tariffs did impact the price tag, because then that would make me feel confident that they're not going to raise it even more.
But that's why he didn't say it.
That's why he didn't, because they're going to raise it again.
That's exactly why he didn't say it, and that's exactly why he said what he said.
Exactly.
It was just signaling like, hey, what he's saying right here is marketing speak for the price might still go up.
Again, yes.
That's all that is.
It's a good chance the price is going up again.
I feel like he was coached to say that. Yes. Somebody was like, hey, specifically mention this in case it's softening the blow. It's letting people know like, hey, this might go up. That's all that
This was the price before tariffs. That's what they're telling you.
Yeah.
Even though it's not the price before tariffs. This was the price before tariffs.
Correct.
We're going to add another price now for tariffs.
So if they raise it $100, they can just blame it literally on Trump and be like, hey, it's not our fault, you know?
Yeah.
So.
And the funny thing about that is if tariffs go away, the price isn't going to go down.
Oh, no. That's definitely not going to happen.
That's the thing.
Poor Canada will have to suffer from that, too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
51st state.
Sorry, Canada.
I'm not sorry. I ain't do shit. If I got to be sorry for it, I ain't do it.
Yeah, no, I voted for the
Just
black
saying sorry
lady.
doesn't mean you're taking the blame. It means you're feeling empathy.
I got shit for
I'm
wearing
sorry
a
that
black
that happened
excellence
to
shirt
you.
when I'm black.
I'm sorry that happened to you.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Empathy.
I'm
I gotta
sorry
live
that
in this-
happened to us.
Yes, I got to live in this goddamn country. What I'm talking about? I'm sorry, Canada. Nah. Sorry, me.
You should be telling me sorry.
Yes, have sympathy
Sorry,
for
the
us.
country of morons hired this guy.
Yeah.
All right, now this is a fun one. Quote Doug Bowser. What you see right there is variable pricing when asked about the games. We look at each game, really look at the development that's gone into the game, the breadth and depth of the gameplay, if you will, the durability over time, and the repeatability of the gameplay experience. Those are all factors, and there's many more that go into consideration and what is the right price for the game. So I think you can anticipate that there will be variable pricing, and we haven't set a benchmark.
Yeah.
I think that's fine. I don't really have a problem with that.
I do.
I do too.
Yeah. I get it. This is the way that it used to be, and Sean and I argued about this. I don't really argue. We talked about this, and Sean very much believes that games are different. They offer you different. They can be priced differently, and I mostly agree with that. Like that's a very admirable, like kind of a straight shooter type of thing. But it's not the expectation of the market. The expectation of the market is games cost whatever that baseline is, whatever a company wants to set it, 70. Nintendo's trying to set 80. I think the confusion, and I think there's a lot of confusion right now about Nintendo Switch 2 because exactly of this. There is no expectation. There's so much confusion because everything's different. Mario Kart's 80, but Donkey Kong's 70, but Kirby's 80, but it's 60. But if you get the updated, that update's 20, but this update's 10, and these updates are free. That's the problem that comes with variable pricing.
That is confusing.
When everything is a different price, then you can't get mad and everybody's like, I don't understand any of it, because everything's a fucking different price.
Could you imagine if movies cost a different price depending on what movie you were going to go see?
Correct.
Like,
Exactly.
Whether it was 4 hours or 2 hours, like, again, that's not the reality of the market. I think it would have been, I don't care if it was 80. It would have been a lot better if they were like, the new price of games is 80 and all these games are $80.
I agree.
People would have been super pissed, but it would have been better than what they're doing. What they're doing is confusing.
Also, frankly speaking, we've heard plenty of stories of people be like, hey, I paid $70 for this game, and this is not worth $70.
yeah.
The content does not match the price. And I feel like that's going to be a more common thing with these type of games. We're going to get games that cost more,
Yeah.
but the content is not going to match
And
that.
going off of that, I feel like the reason why I at face value don't have as big of a problem with this statement is if they do down price games. Like I feel like they're making this argument to raise prices of certain games, but I think if you're making something like WarioWare or Tamagotchi Life or these Rhythm Heaven, these smaller scale games, if you're making those still cost like $50, $60,
I think they're gonna be 60 because
Exactly.
Well,
That's
yeah, and
part of
I
it, because
feel like you still need to have that range. Like still
problem
make those
is
60, make
those
more
games used to
$40
be-
games.
those games used to be $40 and $50 because the games were 60.
Yeah.
Now the games are 80, so now those games are going to be 60.
Yeah.
60.
And 60
that's
is going
the
to be the
problem.
new budget game.
Yeah. God.
Full price.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why I think that's a big reason why people are angry.
Mm-hmm.
It is a big reason why there's so much confusion. And yeah, I mean, personally, I think simpler is better when it comes to messaging. Here's the biggest problem with all of this. For the last 8 years, Nintendo has conditioned people to just buy tons of Switch games. And you've now given them a reason to think twice about it. That's the biggest issue here. Like if they had, I don't want to say even kept the same. If they had just said, hey, our new games are $70, that's an established point that's already been established, and all of our games would be that, I think everybody would have bought their Switch 2 and just kept on buying games.
Yep.
But because they've done this, I think you've given a lot of people a reason to rethink about that. Like, wait a minute, why am I buying all these games? And I think that's a real problem. Like, that is a real problem. And if we look back on the Switch 2 and games don't sell 60 million copies, 40 million copies, 20 million copies, I do think this might be a big reason why.
Yeah. And frankly speaking, they could have just kept the games at $70 and then surprised us with, oh, this game's $60, this game's $50, as opposed to just saying, yeah, we're going to have variable pricing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I get it at face value. At face value, like in a vacuum, that sounds fair. Like you're pricing the product what you think it's worth. That's nice. There's nothing wrong with that. But it comes with consequences.
Yeah.
Now you have to deal with those. So,
And then certain games won't sell as well because of that.
yeah.
Certain
I
games
do
might
think
just completely fail because of that.
a part of me also wants to say I think this would have made a lot more sense if it was a new Zelda game instead of a Mario Kart game. It's almost like they picked the wrong game to go with.
I disagree. I think this is a fine game to be $80.
Yeah.
I do.
I think it's fine to be $80 because people are going to buy it regardless because it's Mario Kart.
Yeah, they are going to buy
I mean,
it.
we're talking about the best-selling Switch game.
Yeah, it's not that. It's not about the sales. And honestly, my statement was made regardless of what they do with future support. If it's free, if it's paid, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I just think in a lot of people's hearts of hearts, they just don't value a Mario Kart game as the top of the line, most expensive game in the industry. I just think that's a reality of it. And it doesn't mean it's not worth it. It's just, it's a mental hurdle that people have to get over.
Yes, but I think people will. They know people will buy this.
They're going to
game
buy
at
it.
that
Yeah,
price.
no, that's why they did it.
That's
'cause
the
they're
reason
gonna
why
buy
they did it. Like,
I just feel like it would have been softened if, let's say I'm going to spin it different. Let's say a different scenario. They delay Tears of the Kingdom to Switch to 2's launch. And we show up at Tears of the Kingdom, and it's this giant world, and it's 4K 60, and it's got skies and the ground and everything, and it looks huge. It's Breath of the Wild, but it's 3 times as big. And they're like, but this one's 80. I think people would have been like, okay, it looks so big. I get it. It's worth it. I feel like there would have been people reacting to that differently.
yes,
Right. Yeah. I'm just saying, like, if I'm making up a hypothetical.
No, I'm asking, was it really 60 or 70 though?
No, it was 70. It was 70.
Okay.
It was 7.
And nobody blinked an eye at that.
Yeah.
Again, because of how, and I'm talking about the masses, how the masses, what they value a game at. You know, Mario Kart World at 80 is like, this is $10 more expensive than the brand new Spider-Man game or the brand new Witcher game, or, you know, like all of those things. And I think that's a hard place for Mario Kart to exist. Now, does it matter? No, because we're all going to buy it anyway. So I think that's your ultimate point, because it doesn't matter because we're all going to buy it anyway. When we look back at Switch 2 and it sells 50 million copies, you know.
It is a safe game to do that with, because historically people have bought it multiple times. Everybody has it. Like, it's the game. It's their game.
Yeah.
It's
It
for
is interesting
casuals. It's for, you know, more hardcore players. Everybody likes Mario Kart.
Mario Kart 8's sale through was inflated because it's been bundled in so many things. It'd be interesting to see if they keep doing this with Mario Kart World. Like, do they keep it as a pack in, you know, bundle game that they just sell for years and years and years? I could see it. You know, because then, like, I'm wondering, and the reason I say that is I'm wondering if 8 years from now we look back at it and we're like, I can't believe 70 million people bought Mario Kart World for $80. And it's like, yeah, but did they? You know, like, a lot of people bought it for, you know, because they bought it with their system.
Can we address in the chat? They're talking about whether Mario Kart is 70 digital or 80
It's not.
digital.
Not in America. Mario Kart is 80 digitally. We don't have in America, we don't have a cheaper SKU for digital prices. That's just the European market. And there are European retailers that are pissed that there's a cheaper SKU digitally than the physical. But in America, as I understand it, maybe I'm wrong. I'm trying my best to keep up with everything. But as I understand it, in North America, in NTSCU, all of our prices are the same. It's 80 digitally, it's 80 physically.
And you got people confidently saying it's 90 or confidently saying it's 70. And it's like, if we're all feeling confident about it, there's something wrong.
Oh, 100%. Like, it's a mess. This is a disaster of marketing. Does it matter at the end of the day? I think that's a question I'd like to be answered. Like, does this thing just sell out anyway and it doesn't matter? Because that would be quite the exercise. Because we've talked a long time about how the Wii U suffered for marketing and the name and all that. And that's why it wasn't very good. Here we are with Switch 2, and there is mass confusion, and nobody knows what they're doing. But, like, does it just sell through anyway? I think it will. Like, I really do. I don't think any of this matters a whole lot. I think once those pre-orders go up, people are going to buy the shit out of this thing. So we'll see. I got more tidbits and quotes. So Bill Trinen did interviews. So did this new person, Senior Vice President of Product Development for Nintendo of America, Nate Bihldorff. That's how I would do that.
Bihldorff.
Bihldorff? Sounds like a Zelda enemy. You know, it's Bihldorff. But so we've got some tidbits. Confirmed. The Nintendo Switch 2 Joy-Con do not have Hall effect sticks. Talk about bad reporting. This was all but reported ahead of the launch. Like, it was in Bloomberg. It was in something else. But Axios, they all reported that it definitely had Hall effect sticks. I was under the impression it absolutely did, and they just came out and confirmed it definitely does not. So they said that they have redesigned it from the ground up, and Bihldorff called it smooth gliding sticks, whatever the fuck that means. Before we hate on it, I want to point out that I shared a video last night in our Discord of somebody that went hands-on with the Pro Controller.
Wait a second, pause. This Nate guy is the voice of Shy Guy. Like, he does the voice of
really?
Shy Guy. Yeah.
So he is a Shy Guy.
G-Man just said so, and I just looked it up, and he's so right.
That's cool. Wow, the senior vice president of product, also a voice actor.
Funny. So funny.
Yeah, so I shared a video last night of a guy that went hands-on with the Pro Controller, and he was an in-depth video, and he said that he was like, these sticks feel amazing. To the Pro Controller, does not the Joy-Con, but he was like, I don't understand. He's like, you know when you push the joystick to like the edge, there's like usually like you feel the edge of the plastic of the case. Sometimes they're rigid. People have started putting in like metal rings and stuff so it doesn't like shave. He was like, I push this to the end and it's not touching. He's like, I don't know how they're doing it, but there might be something to the Pro Controller that I didn't account for when we saw it. Because when we saw it, it looks like a Pro Controller with another button. Like, it might be a little bit more advanced than that. I might have been shorting the Pro Controller a little bit, but he was pretty impressed, and I thought that was pretty impressive. Again, has nothing to do with the Joy-Con. Joy-Con do not have Hall effect sticks.
I'm not going to buy another expensive Pro Controller just because the sticks feel a little different.
I'm not buying Pro Controller. I'm not buying Pro Controller because here's my hot take for Switch 2. I think the new Joy-Con look amazing. Like all the hands-on from all these events that I'm seeing people. I am actually getting pictures of a Joy-Con in a hand, and the size difference is remarkable. Like it looks significantly bigger. Like when you see someone hold it in their hand, not like as a mouse, but like hold it.
It does.
And you see the buttons and the stick. I'm like, wait a minute though. The Joy-Con low-key looks awesome though. Like it really looks like it might have that Wii remote-like feeling of grip. And then when you put it in the charging grip, the puppy dog controller, like that looks like a legit way to play. That's kind of why I'm not interested in the Pro Controller. It's just an additional expense that I don't think I need. I'd almost rather get another set of Joy-Con than a Pro Controller. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. But I also do not think, there's a lot of people super pissed off about this, the Hall effect. I do not think Nintendo, boy, I hope I don't eat these words. Somebody clip this. I do not think they would have done 8 years of Switch and repaired all those Joy-Cons and had all those headlines and lawsuits and everything about drift and show up for the Switch 2 with the same stick. I'm positive that is not the case. And I really hope I don't eat those words. But like clearly they would not have done that. So I think whatever the issue was, I think they've probably engineered a way around it with a new part or something. So, because it would be crazy if they did the same thing twice. I don't think
that
I
was
can't
bad
believe
marketing for them. All the
I can't believe
drift,
that's the case. I really can't. I can't believe that they would just show up and not do anything. Also, Hall effect isn't the answer to everything. Just because you have a Hall effect stick doesn't mean it will never drift. You'll never that's not true. Hall effect sticks can do it. They just don't do it as much. Yeah. It is a better part than what we had, but it's not the only way to answer the solution. So to me, it kind of feels more like the OLED thing. You know, like I'm not buying because it doesn't have an OLED. And it's like, yeah, but the screen that it has is better than the OLED you have.
Yeah.
You know, like I wonder if
these still might be, be
correct.
Drift repellent in some other way.
Yeah. So let's see here. Nintendo Switch 2 will not have system-wide achievements. I didn't think so, but a lot of people did. It's just in the app for the Zelda games. I'm wondering if that app becomes more of a thing like that. It's like a per-game thing. Lots of games have achievements built into the game. I do think it would be cool if Nintendo started adding things like that to the app and giving us a reason to launch that app every now and again.
Hot take, I'm glad there's no achievements.
Me too. Yeah, no, I'm like, good. I don't want that either. Like, I think that's great. So, Nintendo Welcome Tour officially costs $10. That was the conversion. We speculated. It's been confirmed. It is $10. I'm absolutely buying that game. I wish I had a cartridge. Like I wish I could buy even a digital cartridge. I wish I could buy that for it instead. I'm more upset that it's digital only than it being $10. Bill Trinen said upgrade packs for Zelda are $10. So if you don't have an SO and you want to buy them, they're $10 each. So based on that, because we still don't have like official every game what the update packs are, it seems to suggest that patches are $10, patches with additional content are $20. Kirby is $80 because you're getting the Kirby, the update, and the expansion, and that's $20, $60, $80. And then Zelda is $10. That seems to be what we're doing.
Can I say something?
Please.
Sure.
I think it's wrong and offensive and just overall messed up that the Switch 2 edition of Breath of the Wild does not come with the DLC.
I think I had that on here, but yeah, we can talk about that now. Yeah, no, it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't come with the DLC.
No, it does
People
not.
figure that out. All right, so I have a thought about that, but before I say the thought, I want to say that I agree with you, and I wish it was included, regardless. But I have a thought and the reason maybe why it's not. And it's because it's because of the price. Because if they included the expansion with the update, they would charge $20 for it, and that would be more of an upcharge on the 20 to 40 million people that already own it.
Oh my God, the game is freaking 7 years old. Just throw the DLC in there. Come
I'm with you.
on.
I'm with you. I'm with you. That's what I agree with. I would think either way, but I wondered when I saw that was confirmed. Here's what I was wondering. I was trying to put myself in their boardroom, and I wonder if they were like, the upgrade price if you don't have NSO is $20. If people would be upset about that, could be like, I already bought the expansion. I already have the DLC. Why am I paying for it again? So by making the update $10 and just keeping the DLC separate, you've kind of allowed people to have that modularity, like pick and choose what you need to buy. I'm just trying to explain maybe why it's not. Again, I would just throw it in there and be like, well, then you just, I don't know, you get it twice. I don't care. But I would have put it in there.
You want me to pay $10 to upgrade and I'm only going to get the DLC with it?
You know, there's an easy fix for this. The easy fix would have been to include the DLC as NSO. That would have been the easy fix. You get the expansion and the DLC if you're a Nintendo Switch Online member. Mm-hmm. That's how you fix that problem.
Yep.
That's how you fix a lot of these problems. Like I've been saying it for, 3 or 4 episodes? Put all of the update packs and all of this extra shit, just include it in the Switch Online. And raise the Switch Online price if you want. That's the easiest way to do this. People would take that in stride. Yeah. What you're doing is worse. This is way worse. But that was I think that might be why it's not included. Also, it's not like they're not like, this isn't like the Cyberpunk Ultimate Edition. This isn't Zelda the Ultimate Edition. It's Breath of the Wild with the update pack. It's Tears of the Kingdom with the update pack. They're not selling it. They're not re-releasing it as like the Master Edition or the Premier Edition. Again,
no, but you know they will again
I'm
later. Oh my God, come on.
Again, I'm not excusing it. I'm on your side. I'm just pointing out some subtle differences here. Yeah, that definitive edition is coming. I wonder if they'll double pack it. You look at them looking at Last of Us right now, and they're like, we could do that. You get both for $120 with the DLC. It's a deal.
I think they're nickel and diming you, and like really, it's not even worth that.
They 100% are. That's this whole experience is them nickel and diming us.
Because XPS is right. Like the DLC, like is it really worth $20? Like you're already charging more for the Switch 2 version of the game, so just include it.
My answer to you, XPS, though, is yes. Though the Master Trials was fucking awesome. It is really worth it. It's good. I love that experience. Did you not?
No, I mean, I think it is, but you're already asking people to upgrade.
100%.
Like you're nickel and diming for every little thing. Just ask them to pay additional one time and you get it all.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I am on your team. I'm on your team. I would have just included it, and I thought it was going to be included, and I thought they were doing us a deal by making it part of NSO, but they're not. Bihldorff says, is it possible? It's possible future games have inputs mapped to the NS2's back paddle buttons. I thought that was an interesting comment. They were asked about those back paddle buttons, and like obviously we can map things to them. But he was asked, like, do you think Nintendo, like games, will force use them? Will have like inputs assigned to those? That's interesting because the Switch in portable play doesn't have them, right? Does the Joy-Con have the back paddle? I don't think so. Now I'm almost questioning myself. Chat? I didn't think so. So I don't think this is a thing. I honestly don't. I think he was just talking, but I wonder. Those back buttons are there for a reason. Do you think they could have come up with a game that, like, I don't want to say forces you to have them, but like that is better played with those? Like I'm sure they can find a way to do it. The charging grip has them, by the way. I'm not sure if you saw that.
I didn't see it.
The charging grip, if you get the charging grip for the Joy-Con, it has the back buttons.
Okay.
That's what I plan on doing instead of the Pro Controller. But yeah, I just thought that was something I wanted to file away in the back of my head. Could we have a game announced in the upcoming years that says like, hey, you can play it like this, but if you play it like this, we've mapped these commands to the back buttons. You know, be something to think about. Like, could 2 extra buttons help you do Animal Crossing anyway? Like, could they streamline or, speed that up at all or something like that? It's kind of like what I'm thinking about. Like, what game could benefit from having 2 more buttons?
While Delvin stepped away, this is so totally going off track, but you got me Googling this Nate Bihldorff now, who's showing up and saying all these things. He is the senior vice president of product development, senior publishing, and former senior director of localization. His first game credit was on Ocarina of Time as a playtester.
Wow.
This guy's 50 years old. Since then, he's worked on several games, like Animal Crossing, the Legend of Zelda series, Elite Beat Agents, Metroid Prime. Not only does he voice the Shy Guys, he voices Salvatore in The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, the guy who plays that, like, that he holds up the sign and he goes, "Kaboom, splish."
Yep.
So he's that voice. He's worked on Smash Brawl. I wonder if he's somebody who could one day step up to the Nintendo of America presidency.
It's interesting.
Somewhere
I always thought
down the line.
Yeah, I don't know how they do all those things. I've always wondered, like, Bill Trinen seems to be somebody that they really put a focus on and let him out there, but he's like, I don't know, what is his official role now? For a long time, he was just a translator.
He's still Miyamoto's translator. He probably, he still does localization and translation.
Because I always felt like
what he's been up to.
They let him do so much talking and so much FaceTime. I always felt like they would let him be the public, like the figure.
He's very good at that. He's very good. I feel
like a lot of people already think of him like that. Like the American customers probably see more of him like that than Doug Bowser. You know,
his first game translated was Ocarina of Time as well. He's the official translator for Shigeru Miyamoto. Let's see. His last, I think he's kind of taken more of a back role lately. I can't see like his most recent games.
Welcome back, Delvin. Bihldorff has more quotes, specifically on the game key cards, which I have converted to just calling them digital cartridges. That's what I'm going to call these things from now on. These are digital cartridges. It says, obviously, there is a finite amount of memory on a game card. If you happen to be a publisher who has a game that's bigger than that, that would still be a way of you being able to have a retail version of your game on the system, probably the only way. Game sizes have gotten really big, so game key cards is just providing another avenue. I have
see, I feel like that kind of speak is like, whether you agree with that or not, I feel like that is a more PR appropriate way of saying it than just saying something like, then just buy it digitally, nerds.
Makes sense. I agree with you. It really, when he says that though, and Bravely Default is like 11 gigs and it's a game key card game, it's kind of at odds with itself though. Like there's an obvious follow-up question. It's like, then why are these small ass games on the game key card? So I've been thinking about this and thinking, we've got Dash in the chat, not buying a single game key card. I know a lot of people that other way. When I first heard about this, I had that immediate reaction. I'm starting to soften that because Dash, here's what I'm going to tell you, man. I think we probably run into an existence where all games are perhaps game key cards at some point. So if you want any sort of physical, like it might be your only option. We'll see. That remains to be seen. But like I'm wondering if we're going there. But here's a couple things. I talked about this before, but I want to allude to it again. There's been several rumors at this point. They're not fully confirmed that Nintendo is not offering the wide range of cartridges that they did on Switch 1. On Switch 1, you could, if you had a game, you want to put on a physical cartridge, I believe they had like a 4, 8, 16, 32 options. It sounds like right now the options are 8 or 64. Again, speculative. But if that's true, that would explain why so many games are doing the game key card. Let's say you have a 11 gig game like Bravely Default, or a 35 game, or a 45 gigabyte game. I don't know how big Street Fighter is, but I'm just going to say that because I know that's a game key card. Let's say the digital cartridge for Street Fighter is 40 gigs. You're faced with a dilemma. Do we do the game key card, which is fairly like a lot cheaper, right? Because you're not going to flash the game. It's just a license. Or do we have to do the 64 gigabyte because our game can't fit on the 8? That might be a reason, and maybe that's something Nintendo, if that's true, again, I want to be clear, if that's true, if that speculation is true, maybe that's something that clears up in the years to come. Maybe Nintendo starts offering more options. Here's another thought that I had, though, and this is just me. Nintendo talked about, I actually went back last night to watch it because I wanted to be sure. Nintendo talked about in the Direct how the new cartridge, remember in the Direct they showed the game card next to the Switch cartridge? They're the same size. Mm-hmm. There was an off mention, he said, this is 3 times faster than our old cartridge. Now, the reason that I went back to look that up is if it's 3 times faster, that's still woefully short of how fast the game is if you put it on an SSD, on an SD Express card, or on the internal storage. And I'm wondering if certain games may not be able to play very well if ran off of the cartridge for a lack of speed. And maybe that might be a reason why having the digital cartridge. So you can install it in the memory. And I'm just holding with their word. They said 3 times faster. If I recall, I looked it up last night on Reddit. I believe the cartridge speed on Switch 1 was around 90 megabits per second. So let's say 3 times that. Let's just call it 300. Call it 350. The read speed from the Express SD card's like 980.
Oh.
So if it's
That's
3 times
difference.
faster, there's a huge difference in read speed. And maybe that's just really technical and they didn't want to get into it. But if that's true, because the reason that I went down this path, if I could have you guys remember, from the moment we started here, I was wondering, would we have some sort of proprietary storage for Switch 2 if it's that fast? Because if you look on the PlayStation and the Xbox, that's what we ended up getting. And when you get a disc on the Xbox, what do you have to do? You have to install it to what? The memory, so then it can play. And I think this might be the reason why we're having game key cards. Listen, I'm no fucking developer. I barely manage servers.
It makes sense.
But I'm trying to connect dots. And that's what I'm starting to come to. And maybe that's why we're getting game key cards. Maybe Elden Ring has longer load times or doesn't run as well. It doesn't stream in assets as well if you play it off of the cartridge. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense because Cyberpunk can play from the cartridge directly. But I'm wondering, again, the optimization that they're putting in to make that work. Some developers just maybe they don't want to. I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. But yeah, those are just some thoughts I had. I don't know if they're true or not. I want to be clear. They could all be fucking false.
It makes sense.
But
makes a lot of sense.
I don't think that explains Bravely Default. I think Bravely Default should be able to play from the cartridge. But I'm wondering if we do get into a point, I'm honestly wondering a couple years into this thing if everything is a digital cartridge.
Well, that's what I mean. I think the speed factor is one thing, but I think Yarden's point, makes even more sense. And I feel like that's probably more of a reason why, as we get further into the Switch life, most games won't even fit onto 64 gigabyte cards, True. He says. And I think that might not be as true for first party games, seeing as our biggest ones are not even 30, not even half of that. But I think for third parties, I think that's extremely true.
And factor in the cost of that. Let's say you have to have if you have a 64 gigabyte cartridge and the speed is, let's throw out everything I just read about the speed not being a thing. Let's just say because the cartridge is better, right? It's 3 times better than the old one, and it's bigger, 64, then you would have to suspect that the cost of manufacturing said cartridge is higher than ever. Well, let's say you plan on selling 5 million Switch copies. What if you save $5 on every copy sold by having a digital cartridge versus a physical cartridge?
Right.
To us, we'd be like, I would pay extra. But for the developer, they're like, no, that's a lot. If you're expecting to sell 5 million copies of Elden Ring, and you don't want to just give up $5 out of every one of those sold. That's a lot of money. So I feel like with all things, I feel like cost is the reason. Cost is the reason why these are here. I'm trying to think of other reasons, but I think it comes down to cost. So
the definitely the speed time of Breath of the Wild, they showed that comparison. I was really impressed with that too.
Yeah. It just kind of it kind of goes and stops and then it just zips to the end.
My biggest fear is that that's only for games that get the upgrade and not my Animal Crossing backwards compatibility game.
So I had a thing in here that I was going to bring up to talk about that, but I thought the notes were too long, so I took it out. But since you mentioned it, I'll bring it up. I don't think it was Bihldorff. I think it was the director that spoke. they were talking about backwards compatibility, which we talked about last week about how they're emulating it. And there was a little bit more conversation about that this week, where essentially it just says like, hey, if your old game is played on the Switch 2, like if it has an unlocked frame rate or something, like it should be able to load faster just because it's on the Switch. But they did say, but it depends on how each game was made. And so essentially is this: if when Animal Crossing is loading, if it's doing something like specific during that time that it has to do, like that's probably going to be the same on Switch 2. So I don't know. Again, the answer is we don't know until we see it, but I'm starting to maybe think it's not going to be as great as maybe we were hoping. Unless you have to pay for the update, right? Like I wonder if they'll update it. Like I wonder if we'll get an update pack for it.
Doesn't sound like it if they didn't mention it.
Yeah, like you kind of want to go that way. Like, why wouldn't they have that ready? And I honestly, like, I don't know. Would they want to do the update patch, or would they just save it for the next game? Like, to give you a reason to buy the new one. Like, let's say they have an Animal Crossing, they're in production, let's say they're hoping for it next year. Might as well just wait till then and try to get everybody to buy the new one.
I guess
Right?
so.
Yeah.
But I want to play my old one with faster speeds too. Like Animal Crossing is a game that people will keep playing even when a new one comes out because they want to go back to their old island.
Yeah. I hope, I mean, for your sake, I really, really hope
Thank you. Me too.
that it loads. Like, I'm rooting for it. Like, I'm not sure if you tell, I keep trying to find an answer to it.
Thank you. I appreciate
So I can
it.
come to the show and tell you about Animal Crossing. Like, I'm
Give me
trying.
good
I'm
news.
trying to figure it out.
I appreciate it.
A couple more headlines. We didn't talk about this. This is before the Direct, but it was on the news, and we've just had so much news we haven't got there. Nintendo did announce the live-action Zelda movie debuts March 26, 2027.
They did, and they announced it on the Nintendo Today app.
Right. And it's rumored to be filming in New Zealand, and it's rumored to be a trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty fucking awesome. I think that they have something special planned for Zelda games next year.
Wait, you didn't say the release date.
I did, March 26, 2027.
You didn't, because guess what? It's the day before my birthday. So I know what I'm doing for my
wow.
33rd
There you
birthday.
go. So next year is Zelda's 40th anniversary, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they have the movie?
No. Next year's not the movie. It's 2 years.
Right, but they're going to start, we'll have the trailer for the movie and the lead in the marketing for the movie.
Okay.
So I think they're going to, I think they have something special planned for Zelda. I don't know what it is, but I think they've got something special planned.
They can show the trailer next year during the 40th celebration.
Yeah.
Make a big thing about it. Oh, we also have this coming out.
I'm hoping we're getting like a collection. I hope we're getting some sort of Zelda collection thing.
I want Ocarina of Time, the same
Remake?
thing they did. The same thing they did to Final Fantasy VII.
I'm seeing a lot of people that want Ocarina remake.
Is that too much to ask for?
I think so.
Yes.
I think so.
100%.
But I'm wondering if, like, could they do a collection? People are wondering where these HD ports are, and it's like, well, you could easily do a little master collection, a little 3D All-Star something. Throw some things in there, do an Ocarina of Time. Maybe not a,
Well, no,
maybe
we
not
already have all
remake.
of that on NSO. That's not going to hold the same amount of weight as it did for Mario when we didn't have all of those on NSO.
Does it matter? I think people buy it anyway. I'll buy it anyway.
No, you won't.
Yes, I will.
Oh my god.
Yes,
So will you.
I know.
Like, what are you talking about? When they show us that gold cartridge, and like 100%, you will.
Yeah.
Gold cartridge. Oh my god.
I'm trying to will that into existence. I love collections. I would love a little Zelda collection. That'd be great.
I love my GameCube collection. That's my baby. I love that
Like
thing.
if they did, I don't know. What if they ported like Ocarina of Time, like the 3D version to Switch, and then like included like Wind Waker and Twilight, and they sold that as like a Zelda collection? Even if they did the double pack that we've been wanting forever, Twilight and Wind Waker, that'd be another thing you could celebrate, an anniversary
That'd be
with.
cool.
That's an easy celebration thing to do.
Yeah.
Link to the Past, Pixel Remaster.
Yes.
Ooh.
Now you're in?
That game is perfect as it is, though.
HD 2D? I agree
would
with you.
love
Actually,
that.
I kind of agree with you. You would have to be able to flip-flop. Like if I could change the graphics from old to new, that would be okay.
That'd be really
I think
cool.
they need to go all out. It's time on Ocarina of Time. It's time. Like, it really is.
More putting to death more rumors on Nintendo Switch 2. This has been debunked officially by Nintendo. Nintendo Switch 2 edition games do come with a Switch 2 cartridge and the update on the cartridge. Despite the little disclaimer that they have, they said the updates will be on the cart. You will not have a code. It will be a red cart. You're not buying a red box with a gray game. You're getting the red cart with the update on the cart. So
That's cool.
that likely means I'm going to rebuy Breath of the Wild because I'm going to want the red cartridge. 100% I do. But yes. Nintendo fine print says a GameCube controller can only be used on NSO. I put in here, this is what I put in here this day when this came out, press X to doubt. And I think it's basically been confirmed since then that is not true. All the controllers say that. The Super Nintendo controller says that. The reason that they say that is they were designed specifically to work with NSO. Can you use them to take screenshots and go to the home menu and play another game? Sure. But
might not be super compatible with everything.
Your mileage may vary depending on button layouts and configurations, right?
Like I used my NSO Super Nintendo controller to play The Lion King on that Disney Aladdin Lion King pack, and it worked perfectly fine.
Like it is a controller. You can boot any game with the NES controller.
Can you play Breath of the Wild with the Super Nintendo controller? No.
Right, so that is why that disclaimer is on there. But again, the misinformation. There are headlines galore telling you that you can't do anything with the GameCube controller but play the GameCube games, and that is not true. Let's see, where are we? Hades 2 is coming to Switch 1 and 2. There was some thought about that, and it is confirmed as a timed exclusive for console.
Huh.
So it's not a day and date release with PlayStation or Xbox.
But it's coming out same time as PC.
Yeah, well, it's early access on PC. I don't know what they'll be doing out of access PC, but last one that I had here before we get into questions is I would like to throw a shout out to the Nintendo Switch 2 Reddit community, as they've got a trend going around the internet this week where they are taking down Switch 2 scalpers.
Nice.
They have a whole guide on how you can report scalpers. Apparently there's some context or some fine print that you can only sell a pre-order on eBay within a certain time frame of release date. So all of the scalpers that bought UK models or Australian models and trying to sell them to people, all you have to do is report them and their listings are being taken down.
Nice.
Oh,
I don't know how much that's helping, like in the grand scheme of that. They'll just sell them on Facebook Market. I'm sure they'll sell them anyway, but I did think it was funny. And all the blogs are reporting on it. Like, it's literally starting to go around.
Jordan goes, uh-oh. Oh my God.
Anyway, that is all of the news for now.
I hope people actually listen, to like people spread so much misinformation, and I hope that like people like double check or like not
IGN
get
was
so
the worst.
They get so
IGN
like up in arms about stuff that they just hear and they spread it.
IGN and Insider Gaming, I think 2 days ago, ran with the headline that Nintendo pre-orders open May 8th, and so when I woke up, I saw Insider Gaming. They're in my news feed. I saw them do it. And then I saw several friends retweet that as official. And then IGN did the big post with the big graphic, pre-order start May. And I was like, this is just wrong.
Isn't that just the date that until you can sign up for the...
So John in our Discord posted it in our Discord. I was like, this isn't correct. And so I had to actually retweet them and be like, hey, we've known this since the day. It's been the day. We talked about it on Shack. Like, this is not correct. And then IGN deleted the post.
Nice.
Wow.
So, yeah. And just like yesterday, it was like Windows Central, and I think IGN, they ran with the Switch is exempt from the tariff. It's like, they're not, though. It's constant. It's kind of a mess out there. Just
fall from grace, bro.
Check things, man. Like, read things. That's all. Please read beyond the headline. Don't just headline retweet.
Media literacy is very important, but it's also very fleeting. Like, these are simple things they can check out. They can do the research. It's their job to do that. And they're choosing not to do it. I'm like,
I agree with you. And then, like, you could tell with the way IGN did the graphic and everything. Same for Insider Gaming. They just know everybody's looking at Switch 2 stuff. They want to get something Switch 2 out there to get people clicking and engaging. I get it. And I honestly, I understand that why people don't. People don't have time to do all this. They don't care enough. They just see the headline. They think that's the news and they move on. And unfortunately, I think to your greater point that you've been talking about, Delvin, is that's something we as like a society have to find a way to confront, because that leads people down some wrong places.
And it's getting worse.
Yeah. Not that video games matter, but there are more important problems that leads to. In the grand scheme of things, video games don't matter. But I keep trying to check things. I'm like, try to find the source, try to find the real information. So.
Are we ready for questions?
I am ready to stop talking. I feel like I've been talking for an hour.
Yeah, let's get to these questions.
No, I appreciate you, explaining a lot of those things that, like, even if I read it, like, I might not fully understand it unless you put it into, like, simple terms. So I appreciate you doing all that legwork.
I always say this thing, like, sometimes I just wait for Donnie to put out the report, and that's why I find it out. Now, this is the reason why. I know people think I'm joking when I say that, but this is the reason why. Because I know Donnie's going to do the research. He's going to no, this isn't right.
Hey, I got it wrong. I had Duskblood's release date wrong. I had several things wrong through this whole thing. It's too much.
But at least I know you're going to do the research first.
I'm trying.
Even if you're wrong, you're going to look into it. A lot of motherfuckers just post shit and be like, all right, this is it. Like, no.
Well, that's why a lot of people still think games are $100.
Yes.
All right. Jason says pre-orders when?
It's a good question.
That's a good question. Let me look at my calendar. Let's all guess.
I think they're going to announce.
Let's Google it and take the first thing that we find.
I think they're going to announce pre-orders on Thursday to open up on Tuesday. So I'm going to say April 22nd. I want them to do it right after the Mario Kart Direct. Like, I want them to do it immediately, but I don't think they're going to.
Jason, it's going to be when I'm in, like, a parent conference, and it's going to be the longest parent conference, and I'm not even going to be able to look at my phone, and I'm going to miss the whole thing.
They will announce the announcement of pre-orders on tax day, April 15th.
Be good. So they do it ahead of the Direct.
Yes.
Okay, I like it. I would like that. I would like them to go up ahead of the Direct, but for some odd reason, that Direct being there, I feel like they're going to want to get through that first. I just hope
if they do it ahead
like
of the Direct, then they won't get as much of the spam, people saying drop the price or whatever.
Yeah, just throw it out there.
Perhaps. That's a good point. That's a good point.
Because if they do it at the very beginning, there's still going to be people that miss it. But if they put it out like a day or two beforehand.
Here's my fear. My fear is that they are redirecting a lot of units and they don't exactly know how many they have to sell. And like the pre-order dates, like we go through, like we're here next week talking about when do they open the pre-orders. Like my fear is that pre-orders don't open until like May 1st or something. Like maybe they do push it off a couple weeks. That's what I'm worried about. I hope that's not the case.
We'll see. I hope we know this time next week.
It ends up becoming May 8th and then IGN comes back and it's like, shut the fuck up.
Indie Techno question for Shaq has anyone tasted a cart? I didn't even try once I heard they taste bad. Can you do one on stream? Indie Techno, I did this a few weeks ago. Go back, roll the tapes. I did it live on stream on here.
Listen, Aaron, you have to pay extra for that.
Look, facts.
We don't let Rebecca do that for free.
There's a clip or something.
If you want a Rebecca tasted cartridge, we got to get paid.
Oh my god!
Exactly. I will also taste a cartridge for a lot less.
It tastes bad.
So you got a choice. You get Rebecca or me.
You can pay $100 for Rebecca's tasted cartridge, or you can pay $8 for Delvin's.
That was the exact price I was thinking too. $8.
It does not taste like chicken. It's like a lingering taste in your mouth that you can't.
Damn, counterpart. What the fuck does that mean? I said, I'll take all you like, does it taste like chicken? What's up with that? What's going on here?
Drew asks, how do you feel about Nintendo adding a button on the controller that you need a subscription to use?
Hang on. Speaking of misinformation, in the Direct, they talk about the C button, and then they immediately go to Game Chat. And then they immediately go to, Game Share?
Yeah.
Right? Can you use that C button for Game Share? Like, is there something you can use that button for besides chat? Is it just the chat button?
That is funny.
It's just the chat button. Yeah, that is pretty lame that they've put it behind they've got a paywall button.
I wonder what happens when you press it and you don't have them. Like,
well, when you
what does it happen
accidentally
after
press
next
it,
year?
it's gonna come up and be like, subscribe to NSO
Would you like to-
get
Yeah.
this feature. Like that's what's gonna happen. And do you know how many
Paywall
times?
article.
How many times have you accidentally hit the screenshot button when you didn't mean to and it took all these stupid screenshots? How many times have you pressed the home button when you're just trying to pause the game and it just pops up with the home menu? You are going to accidentally press this NSO button a million times.
I wonder if you could remap it. I guess you could remap it to like the back button. You don't have to use it anymore.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Chat button. No, they called it the chat button at the Switch 2 event.
Yeah, but it seemed like the way they talked about it, they're like, let's talk about what the C button does. And they're like, this is game chat. And then they were like, this is game share. It felt like the C button maybe had more than one use case. Like when you pressed it, more than one thing you could do something more with it. I do wonder what does it look that the Splatoon app, like the voice chat that we had on our phone. Did you have to be an NSO member to use that? I don't remember.
To use
I never
the what?
used it. The voice chat on the phone for Switch 1.
Yes.
You had to be an NSO member to use it. So it's not really, I mean, I guess that's not
I
new.
think so.
Yeah.
Because it was through the NSO app.
Yeah, I just didn't know if you had to subscribe to use it. I didn't know if you could just use it for free.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I guess then that kind of sucks. If that's the case, then it kind of sucks. I don't know what else to tell you. Guess what? You should subscribe to NSO anyway. So just do that. You broke motherfucker.
Yeah. Broke bitches.
I'm this close to a heel turn. If we keep running, I'm this close to a fucking heel turn. Listen here, you broke motherfuckers. You guys get out there and get paid.
Don't you guys
Tired of hearing about it.
Look
Tired of
here.
hearing about it.
We have a console for you.
Yeah. It's an Xbox 360. Go play that shit. You broke. And guess what? Go get an Xbox Series S. I hear they're cheap
We
these days.
understand you may not be able to afford Nintendo Switch Online.
Yeah.
We believe.
We have a service for you. It's called Xbox Live. Go get that broke shit. We have a console for you poors. It's the Series
Go
S.
plug in your Wii U.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Hey, Corsi says, despite the higher than expected price, we know the hardcore crowd will absolutely show up to buy the Switch 2 on day one. But how many people is that? In other words, how many consoles can Nintendo sell before it has to justify a higher price to the more casual audience?
I think that number is about 25 million.
Yeah. Might be higher. I think
it might be higher.
I think because of the fact that there's so much controversy behind the system, even the casual audience is going to want it now, because there are people out there who's going to see this and hear all this tariff stuff and think about it like, I can go flip this Switch.
So the opportunists are definitely going to want it. They're going to try to flip it. I disagree. I don't think I've seen a lot of reactions like in threads and stuff, and the general feeling I'm getting is that the general casual audience thinks this is too expensive and they won't be there at day one.
I think they'll be there.
The Wii U sold 14 million units. The Switch is way more popular than the Wii U. I think Nintendo's hardcore faithful, we will buy anything that you put on a shelf, is probably between 20 and 30 million people.
The question is, will they be able to buy it? And two, how many will be available during the holiday season? Because I think the casual people are going to be buying this around Christmas time.
I think the majority of people will be able to get in year one. The majority. When I say, let's say the number is 30 million. I think we're selling 15 million of these in America in year one.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
I think it might be around that. I don't think it's going to be in the 20s like you said, because I don't know. I still keep thinking about, of course, like the hardcore, audience we've been saving for it. We know it's been coming. We've been able to prepare for it. We're expecting this. But I do think that a lot of the casual market and families and stuff, look at the economy that we're in,
100%.
and people who are okay getting by right now might not be this Christmas.
Yeah. It's a luxury.
Think that it is. Yeah. And I think that, a lot of families are going to say, we have the Switch 1 already, we don't need this right now. We're trying to put food on the table.
I agree with you.
With all of these tariffs and stuff that are going to be coming, in the summer, apparently, or, and what's happening, everything else. Like, I think that a lot of people more are going to be, living paycheck to paycheck and aren't going to be able to afford it, haven't been saving it for it like we have. I think people are going to be spending on those kind of things a lot more conservatively than they were able to for the Switch One.
And that's why I say you'll probably see more of that uptick during the holiday season. Because I can see a lot of parents be like, you know what? Won't get it for you June 5th. But Christmas, this will be the only thing you
Maybe. I mean, Delvin, we don't know how bad it's going to get before then. We're 3 months into this presidency, and look at what's going down.
I'm going to throw some gas on your fire, Delvin. Wait until you see what Nintendo announces this summer for Switch 2.
They can announce all they want, but if you are living paycheck to paycheck and can't afford it, you can't afford it. And I think it's going to get bad in this country. I think it's going to get really bad, and I don't think people are prepared for that.
As a poor person, I can tell you, we find ways to buy things that we can't afford all the time.
Listen, obviously, Rebecca, if people can't afford it, I 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
That said, even barring a bullish outlook ahead, Americans typically, employed Americans, which is a lot of people here in this country, 300 million people, they spend $500 or more on shit all the time.
iPhones.
Like ultimately in big face value, $500 is not a lot for a lot of people. Again, for if you're one of those people who are like, it is a lot for me, I was there too before. I get it. I'm not talking about you. But for a lot of people, there's a lot of money in this country. A lot of money.
Yes.
And people buying stocks and shit. Like people spending tens of thousands of dollars, let alone hundreds.
Yeah.
So that's all I want to know.
I know people in the hood got iPhones.
Like yeah, kind of. Yeah, it's like things like that.
Better phones than me. Better
see people buy shoes, purses, boats, ATVs, golf cart, toys, the country, golf, just golf. How many people spend $100 a week going to play golf?
Yeah.
I think if people want to buy a Switch 2, I think they will. It'll be on Nintendo to justify the price, right? And I think people are mad. I think the people online that were mad, I think we're talking about the enthusiast gaming market. I don't think that really placates to the casual audience fan. I don't think they perhaps even know yet. They're just like, oh yeah, the new Switch just costs more.
Just take a look at some of these people, what they're doing.
Tickets.
Proms.
The
prom shit is ridiculous.
I think that is true right now. I just think things are going to get bad. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, it is.
You might be right. Yeah.
I know that people who don't have a lot of money are doing that, but that was a different time. I don't know. I think that it's going to get worse than what we saw in the pandemic is all I think.
Oh, it is.
And gaming took off.
Mm-hmm.
That's another crazy thing is the pandemic got pretty bad economically for a lot, and gaming went bonanza.
Through the roof.
Like gaming took off.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I think it's like year 3. Year 3 is when they have to start reaching new people.
Yeah.
And I think year 3 is when you look for a different SKU to enter the market and potentially try to get people that already bought one to buy another one, and then try to get people that haven't bought one to buy one. But I think for the first 2 years, they're basically selling to their enthusiast customers.
Yeah.
Now, again, wait till the summer when they announce a Mario or something to come out in the winter, the spring. That's going to juice holiday sales big time.
Yeah. Or even GTA 6.
Yeah, they've got something. And we know they got something this summer that they're going to talk about. It's not just Metroid. There's something else going on.
Benjinex. Did I say that right?
I would have read that Benjinx. Maybe that's a Pokemon thing.
I don't know. You capitalized the X.
I didn't.
So if you're lucky enough to pre-order, what game will you play first on the Switch 2? World.
My updated Breath of the Wild.
My man. I'm playing Breath of the Wild day one. 100% I am. I'm sure I'll play Mario Kart World at some point in day one. I'll take it for a spin, but I honestly don't know how much Mario Kart I'll be playing initially. Probably not a whole lot.
Not a whole lot.
Because I'll be lost in Hyrule.
I will be doing both. I'm going to start playing that all weekend.
Every time I see somebody playing that game and it running so smoothly,
I need to take
I'm losing my mind. I'm like, I can't wait to replay that game.
I need to take my last personal day of work on that day. I got to put that in.
I took just a couple days off. Here's something I wasn't expecting to say. I've been watching YouTube videos of people playing these games at the hands-on events. Let me tell you something. Tears of the Kingdom looks pretty fucking awesome on Switch 2.
Yes.
Not gonna lie, Tears of the Kingdom looks pretty amazing on Switch 2. I may have to replay it a little bit.
I'm gonna be replaying Breath of the Wild. I'm gonna try to go 100% on it.
Like Breath of the Wild looks great, but for some reason it's just the style, or it's just a more modern game. Like Tears of the Kingdom really pops off the screen kind of.
I like how the underground looks.
It looks really, really good. I also think like I'm pretty hyped for Hyrule Warriors. And I think maybe that's got a little bit too, because did you guys see the new? I didn't write this down in the news, but that is canon. Did you see that?
They said that about Age of Calamity. You can believe whatever you want.
They didn't say that about Age of
Yes,
Calamity.
they did. Yes, they did.
Non-canon.
No, they didn't. No, they did not, Donnie. They said it was canon. There was an interview where they said, actually, this is all true.
Well, then that was a mistake, because that shit definitely wasn't true. But they said this is canonical, like in the presser. Like this is canon Zelda game.
Yeah, I did see that.
And I'm excited to see what that backstory is, like the Tears of the Kingdom story, like Sonya and stuff. Like I guess we're gonna get to play as the ancient hero, perhaps. And I don't know if people are ready for that at all. Nothing? Just me?
Pretty cool. I'm excited to try it. Looks cool.
Have you seen the ancient hero, Delvin?
No, I have not.
You should Google that. YouTube that after the show. Or on the show. You can do it now if you want, but YouTube that. You might be really into that. It's not just the lore, but like the story there, I'm very interested in. Like I love the Hyrule Warriors games anyway, but if it's canon, they're actually going to tell us like the Imprisoning War, like I'm here for it. Not some timeline alternate universe bullshit. I did not like that with Age of Calamity. I've said that over and over again. I understand that time travel is a part of the Zelda, but like they just kind of made it unimportant, I guess would be the right way of saying it. If this is legit, I'm like way more excited for Hyrule Warriors than I was before. So
okay,
I'm hoping.
I think it'll fix all of your problems that you had with Age of Calamity.
I do too. That's why I'm kind of excited for it. Like, yep, I do too. And if that's the case, like, I kind of want to play Age of Imprisonment and then go right into Tears of the Kingdom. Like, that would make a lot of sense if you could do that. And you guys, I mean, I'm sure everybody I'm sure they'll do some time hijinks to get Link in the game. You'll do something to play as Link, but like, I feel like the ancient hero could be like the Link for that game. Like, you could play a lot of the game as that.
They look cool.
And that would be awesome. It's just very primitive, prehistoric Zelda lore. I'm here for it. So. Yes, of course, XPS. They're supposed to lose at the end. That was the whole point. So if this is canon, we know how it ends. So, like, we should see that. Yeah, we should see that.
Yeah.
That's the whole fucking point. Also, I mean, I do wonder...
Starts.
I do wonder if that's showing like a lot of faith by Nintendo. Like Koei's done this Hyrule Warriors thing a couple times. They did their own story. Then they did like a spin-off story that is not canon. Even if Nintendo said it was, I think they even widely said it's not. I think AG said it's not. It's not canonical. But if this one is, then that's showing a lot of faith to let somebody else do it. I'm sure Nintendo has a very heavy hand in the story. But I'm very excited. Sorry.
So yeah.
I just realized I've been talking too long again.
TPRS needs some advice. I've been eyeing up getting Kirby and the Forgotten Land for months. I'm eerily close to pulling the trigger on it for $45 used, but the Nintendo Switch 2 port announcement gives me pause. That's $40 to $45 more I could put into a Switch 2 console purchase and hold off until the upgraded Switch 2 Kirby releases. However, it means waiting until August to play Kirby if I wait for the Switch 2 port. What would you do? Why can't you buy it for $40 now with a Switch 1 version? Wait until August for the upgrade and play it then.
Yeah.
It's going to be the same thing.
I was going to say just depends on what you have to play right now. If you don't have nothing to play right now, just buy it and play it. If you like it, get the upgrade and play it again.
It doesn't matter either way on the money spent if you plan on playing the game.
Correct.
Like, I get that you're saying it's $45 that could be put towards the Switch too, but if you plan on playing Kirby, then you're still just going to have to buy it after that.
And
So
I
the
think
money-
you're going to save money buying it now. Then in August, the Switch 1 version ain't going to cost $40.
Correct.
I agree with that. Yeah, so the money spent is kind of indifferent. If you plan on playing it, you're going to play it both ways. So here's what I would tell you. Wait, get the Switch 2 and play it on Switch 2, and hopefully it plays better than it could ever play on Switch 1. I don't know. Like, I didn't have a problem with it on Switch 1. I thought it was fine.
Yeah, but you
But
get the
obviously-
extra content and stuff.
Yeah, you get the extra content and stuff. And, like, personally, like, the collector in me tells you when to wait because, like, maybe you want the red cart more than the old cart. Like, that's a game I probably will double dip on at one point if I can pick up on a discount. So I just say, I don't know. I say wait. Get the big edition of it.
I say
get the
buy
big
it now
console.
and wait to play.
Buy it now.
I agree with you guys. Like, that would be the cheapest way.
Yeah.
I'm just not
Buy it
worried
now,
about his. I'm not
just
worried
wait.
about his money. I'm trying to, like,
Yeah,
go
but
big or
clearly,
go home.
clearly it's something he's considering because he's saying that he could put that $40 into the Switch 2 console purchase.
Sure.
So that is a factor.
We
Just buy
raised
it
so
now.
much money. Jack has even gotten in on the deal with me. We've been flipping all kinds of things.
Nice.
Very, very, let me tell you, I'm very thankful for a hot Pokemon market because Pokemon is fueling my Switch 2 purchase. We've sold like
doing it more
6
on-
cards for like $400.
Wow. Are you doing it more on like eBay or Facebook Marketplace?
eBay, and Jack has several friends at school that he's working deals bidding
Wow,
on
nice.
trades and stuff. So
Nice.
yeah, we're just getting rid of a couple cards. That's the funny thing is we're literally getting rid of like 8 cards. It's not even a lot. 8 cards that we don't even use in our decks. They're just in binders. And I was like, oh yeah, we can get rid of that shit. That's nothing.
That's
So,
perfect.
perfect.
Switch 2.
Yeah, I'm pulling out Pokemon stocks. Some people trading stocks and bonds. I'm trading Charizards and Blastoises. These are the stocks I trade in. Forgotten Land is a great game. Favorite Kirby game.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do what I suggested TPR. I'm probably going to try to buy a Switch 1 copy and wait to upgrade it later and play it later.
Ooh, I'll tell you mine.
There you go.
We'll talk.
I've already beat it and played. I want the red cartridge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk. Or maybe
buy
you
it.
can either sell to me or to TPR then. Okay, Jay asks, I think I'm waiting to buy Switch 2 when I can pair it with a $78 pre-owned copy of Mario Kart. Worst case scenario, and you have to get your Switch 2 from a scalper. What's your top offer for the system only? Jay, why would you do this? I don't understand why you would do it that way. If
I can
you
tell you right
if
now.
you buy it now, like first off, you can get it Mario Kart for $50.
I think I read that as maybe it was like a joke. Was that just me? I thought the first sentence was like, I'm waiting to buy a Switch 2 until I can get a $78 card. Like it was like a joke.
Oh.
Like that'll be the price
Yeah.
that Nintendo goes on sale. That's how I
okay,
read that.
okay. So worst case scenario, you have to get your Switch 2 from a scalper. Oh God,
I'm scared of this question.
me
Look,
too.
I'm going to tell you right now. And I'll be straight up honest with you.
I don't think I
Scalpers-
would.
Scalpers can suck my dick. I'm not
I think
spending
I would
one
rather wait.
Red dime with them motherfuckers. Absolutely
Same.
not.
Yeah, I
I'll
think I
just
would
wait.
rather wait.
I'd wait. I'm not doing it.
And that would be hard for me, but I think I would. Not because of I'd be spending more, but because I don't want to give the scalpers that win.
I don't even call it a scalper. The only way I'd buy a Switch console or something like that secondhand is if one of you guys bought one and had an extra one. Like, you want to buy this
Right,
one?
I
Then
would
I
do
would give
that.
you
I
guys
would
the
do
extra
that.
money.
I
But
would do
a regular scalper, they can suck a dick. I'm not
Like
doing
if it was
that, no.
somebody that I knew or whatever, and I would be able to buy it off of them for a little bit more, they
Yeah.
did the work of getting the pre-order. But no, I'm not gonna reward a scalper.
No, I don't. I'm not fucking with them.
Yeah, I'd rather wait in pain and jealousy.
Yeah, I'd rather just sit there angry, just staring
Same.
at the screen, coming in here every
Delvin.
week sad. Like, yeah,
I hate to be the one to have to disagree with you guys, but I will.
I know you.
So what's your
Right.
top price?
There's
$1,000.
nuance to this question for me to
It's
answer.
like $1,000.
There is nuance here. If I can't get a pre-order and I have to buy secondhand, because not all secondhand's a scalper, but let's just say it's the worst. It's the worst scalper of the world. Here's the nuance.
I'll put your kid through college.
Here's the nuance. I have to have it on launch day. If I can't get it on launch day, I'm not as interested. Like if I have to wait, then it becomes a game of waiting and patience, and I'll win that game. Like I'll just wait for the restocks, or I'll wait to get a good one. But if a scalper like on Facebook Marketplace, if I don't have a pre-order day one, and I look at Marketplace and the guy is like, I will put this in your hand right now.
Come pick it up.
Yeah, my answer is probably like $900. Like I probably will. I'm not gonna lie, I probably will.
Wow.
If I have to, if it comes to that, if I have to,
maybe I should be a scalper.
I'm not gonna let $300 or $400 stand in the way between me and playing Breath of the Wild.
Am I losing out in life by being like a good ethical person?
A good person? Yes, you are. Gotta be a scum, Rebecca. Gotta be a scoundrel. At the very least, be a lovable scoundrel.
I do think there's a difference between people that flip things and scalpers. Scalpers buy up stock by like those are the picture people that have like dozens of consoles. Like they're just buying them up.
Yeah, that's wrong. That's wrong. If somebody got their pre-order and then decided, you know
like
what,
they got
I
another
should be
pre-order,
saving money.
They ended up getting 2.
Yeah,
that's correct.
That's how I got my Wii. My first credit card I used to buy a Wii, and I bought 2 of them. One to buy and one to flip.
That's
fine. I flipped it for double the cost to pay off my credit card.
That is fine. I don't have a problem with that. That's the motherfucker who buys like 12 Switch consoles and stuff like that.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to buy from that person at all. Yeah. Like I already kind of have a hookup in the Discord. I have somebody that has a pre-order somewhere else, and he's like, "Hey, if I get another pre-order, you can just buy mine."
Yeah,
and
that's
like,
different.
That works.
That's not
cool.
a scalper thing.
Yeah, that's not a scalper.
That's what I would be trying to do. XBS has a question in the chat. It says, "Is Jamboree cheap? I would be interested in getting that and upgrading." I wouldn't say cheap, but I do think it's around 40-ish at the moment. Like both used
Jamboree's
and some
fun.
sales.
I would
it's like $40, $45. That's a game I absolutely am buying the upgrade pack for.
Yeah.
And I know it'll be stupid, and I'll probably only play those camera games once, but I still want to play them. They look fun.
With your Piranha Plant camera that's like 20p.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think that'll do you think that'll affect the game? Do you think the game won't play as well if I have a bad camera?
No.
Because I think it's pretty interesting. They're doing like this Kinect-like thing with the camera, but with shitty cameras. Like it's all like AI software based. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like
I think it'll be fine.
Does it work well?
It won't work well even if you have the official camera.
But when I watch people play it, it looks like it works great though. Like it really does. Like it looks like the movements and the tracking is all like one-to-one off the
they have
camera.
The perfect lighting conditions, and they have I don't know.
Did you see that the Piranha Plant can come off the base and you can just stick it in the console?
No, I didn't see that.
So like you were talking about earlier, like having like an eye attachment, you just stick it in the Switch like portably. Mm-hmm. I think you can do that with the Piranha. You can walk around with the Piranha Plant off the top of the console.
That is funny. That is actually really funny.
Did I also tell you the sell of this thing? Like the reason I'm buying it?
No.
When you turn the Switch off, the Piranha Plant mouth closes. And when you turn it on, it opens to see you. I was like, that's fucking all in. Well, that is the camera.
Privacy feature.
That's way better than the fucking the Switch camera. That's boring. Cute. So I'm all in.
Love it.
Jesus, man, I wish I lived closer to Donnie.
Yeah. Jason, like I could make a fortune off this guy.
Hey, I mean, yeah, if I could pay somebody today to just be like, I'll get you the pre-order. Like, hey, that's peace of mind. I don't have to worry about it.
It might be worth it for you to move closer to Donnie.
I don't do it all the time. I don't do it all the time.
But that means living in Georgia.
Listen, I didn't sell those Pokemon cards for no reason, my man.
Yeah.
I sold them so I was locked and loaded to do whatever is necessary. By any means necessary, sir.
Brendan asks us to share our Mount Rushmore of Nintendo characters, making us be Nintendogs for a minute.
I have a question.
Okay.
Does Pikachu count?
Yes.
No.
This is why I got no answer. Yes.
I say no. It's not a Nintendo character.
They wouldn't go on my Mount Rushmore, but yes, they count.
I don't think that's a Nintendo
if Pikachu
character.
counts, he goes on the Mount Rushmore.
How is it a Nintendo character?
I agree with you, Rebecca. I also don't think it counts.
I think people.
I just wanted to clarify beforehand.
I don't think Kirby's a Nintendo character.
What?
It's a HAL character.
No, I can't. I can't
this
join
is
you
where the
there.
problem
That's
lies
too
at.
much.
No
That's too
Fire
much.
Emblem.
Because Nintendo funds HAL, so through their fund, like that's the reason that Pokemon doesn't count. Is Nintendo didn't create Pokemon. Right? They don't own a share of
fine.
Pokemon.
We'll count it all then.
People
We'll count it all
associate Pokemon with Nintendo.
All right,
Let's count it all.
my answer is Mario, Link, Donkey Kong, and Kirby.
No, I said you can include Pikachu.
I don't want to take Kirby off though.
So take Donkey
And that's
Kong
the problem.
off. Take Donkey
No,
Kong.
I'm not doing that either. No,
That's the problem.
Then I'm leaving alone.
I'm with you on Mario. I'm
Sorry,
with you on
Pikachu. I stay.
Link. I'm with you on Donkey Kong.
Yeah,
It's
Donkey
that
Kong
fourth
is
one.
kind of it though. Donkey
I
Kong.
want to
is
say
the-
Samus. I think Samus is my number 4.
I'm not going to argue with your Rushmore. I just don't think Samus has the, I would say the popularity, the sales, right, to eclipse the others. Even the games, like even the amount of games.
I wouldn't say that. I think because of the cultural influence that Samus has, especially considering Nintendo, like that moment where you play Metroid, and
Sure.
she takes
I
off
got
the
you.
helmet and like, oh,
I
that's
got
a
you.
woman.
So you're
Like,
going
that-
Impact.
Impact, yeah. Samus.
Got it. That's cool. It's good.
Y'all aren't gonna like mine.
We know.
We don't have to.
I think that
Ness,
the
Nook,
real Mount
Isabel.
Rushmore is, first of all, stupid because it's built on stolen mountains.
Well,
And it's
know if you know this.
glorifying old
America's
white
stolen.
men who were slave owners and like horrible people, and they built that on a sacred land, on
Well.
sacred mountains for.
we
Don't
built a
say,
lot.
oh boy, here we go.
We
hate to
built
break
a
it to
lot
you.
of things on sacred land.
Hate to break it to you.
So just the
A lot of countries
idea
have that
of
history.
Mount Rushmore is
I
stupid
think most
in
countries
itself.
have that. history,
Most
though.
countries.
Yeah, that's basically how the world is. That's
So
how the world
therefore,
works.
on my metaphorical Mount Rushmore is going to be all women characters.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
going to be Samus. It's going to
Feminist
be
Rushmore.
Princess Zelda.
Love
It's
it.
Okay.
going to be Rosalina.
Oh,
Okay. Oh,
whoa.
dude,
Didn't see that one.
that's where I'm like, okay, there's my
Damn,
concept.
Peach just got sideswiped.
Yeah, like
She's like, I am the princess. motherfucker."
yeah. That's where the controversy lies. I didn't expect that one.
And Isabel.
Okay. All right. All right.
No love for Peach.
Yeah, that's my biggest issue with your list, Rebecca. It's got
Yeah.
nothing to do with the women.
Yeah.
My biggest issue with your list is you at Rosalina.
Okay, fine. Put Peach. I don't care. That's not the important part.
Daisy.
Okay, let's not get carried away. So that's my metaphorical Rushmore. And
G-Man,
we're not
G-Man.
engraving it into a stolen mountain. That
You're
is-
one too many, buddy. It's 4, not 5. You can't keep going.
Keep adding them. Make it 6.
Well, I mean, Trump might go up there, so then we could have 5, and we could
Jesus
pick.
Christ.
Lord knows he wants to.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, moving on. Gags asks, do we think Joy-Con 2 additional colorways? What is he asking here? Colors are also going to
Yeah, I
be
think
that
so.
black gray with a rail inner joystick being a different color. Will the actual Joy-Con 2 be a color? Oh, I see what he's saying. So different alternative colors when they come up with new
Alternative
colors
colors
for the
for Joy-Con.
Joy-Con.
I definitely think they will, and I don't think they'll just be the inner magnet mechanism. I think you'll get the whole Joy-Con will be a color. I think they're going to sell that to us. I want to point out back in January, whenever we saw the thing, I was kind of not taken aback, but like being able to see the sliver, like in the crease of the Joy-Con attaching of the color that's underneath. I do think that's going to bother me at some point when they release different colors. And I know I'm going to be like snapping in a green Joy-Con, but the inside of my Switch is like salmon and blue. Is anybody else like? I'm pretty sure that's just like
You're the
some
only one that
crazy.
cares
Yeah,
about
I know. I know.
But I do think when they do additional colors, I think that the insides will like kind of match in some way. So like if they do like a green Joy-Con, it'll be like a lighter or darker green on the inside, so it'll be kind of like cute matching.
Thank you, Yard. I've wondered this since I've seen him. Like, am I the only one that's going to be upset that we're going to get a Joy-Con that doesn't match the inside of my Switch? Like, I know it's coming, and it's going to bother the shit out of me. I kind of wish the inside of the Switch was just gray, and the color of the Joy-Con was just left alone. I kind of wish the inside, the slot, didn't have a color, because it's gonna bug the shit out of me. Like when they introduce a new model, like might trade in and buy a new model just to fix that problem.
That's kind of weird. No offense.
It's just how I am with colors. I kind of have that. I don't know. It's a fixation.
I like the colors of these. I kind of like that they like are just like a dark gray. They're like more black than the other ones.
I like that. And some of the hands-on that I've seen, that sliver that we saw in the trailer doesn't seem to be as apparent as I thought it was. Like when we first saw it, like you could clearly see that line where the Joy-Con was like orange. And when you see people holding it, like you don't really see it like that.
Yeah.
So I do like that the all gray, black, whatever you want to call it. I like that look. It's very sleek. I kind of want to keep it. Like I don't necessarily want color Joy-Cons, but I do know that when they actually start releasing them, I'm probably going to be tired and bored and want new ones by then, you know.
Me too, as much as I say I won't.
I want this will always be my answer, but I would love a gold Switch too. Gold Joy-Con, gold. Like I'm just that person. Like do it.
I
gold.
love my gold Switch Lite. It's just so cute.
Same. And a big reason, since Yarden is here, I talked about this in the Discord. A big reason why, not a big reason, but a factor in me letting go of that analog 3D order is the opportunity that there will be a gold one day. And whenever that comes in, I probably would have traded in and bought that one anyway. So maybe I just wait.
You can
for
save that
one.
money. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just buy that one. So.
Can I say that I really like stick nubs? I get them off of Etsy and stuff.
Oh yeah, the caps.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are good.
They're adorable. My cat tries to bite them off though.
Of course.
Dash says, I'm going to cry if the Switch 2 is all digital like Donnie was hinting it could be. I don't want to live in that existence. Like, I'm not saying that it's going to be. I don't know. But if the tariffs continue and this continues to be a problem, 100% they're going to look for a cheaper SKU. And that's one way to get more money out of it, is to make it all digital. I think a digital Lite makes the most sense. You keep the big model, the cartridges for the TV and everything, and then you introduce a cheaper model that's digital only as a Lite. I think that makes all the sense in the world. Unibody, one thing. Yeah.
Our last question comes from Magnum TK. If you were employed at Nintendo and they came to you and said, let's correct our mistake, but you can only change one thing, which of these 4 things would you choose? A, lower the cost of games to $59.99 across the board. B, lower the console price. C, pack in the tech demo game. What is it? Welcome tour?
That wouldn't do a damn thing.
Absolutely not. Tell you which one I'm not picking. That one.
I think that might piss people off.
Yeah.
You're putting this game on my console that I can't
All
get
right.
rid of.
We're mad about the console. We're mad about Mario Kart. We're not taking your fucking appeasement. Take that shit,
All right,
shove it
here,
up
you
your ass.
Or D.
You can take Welcome Park for free. Here you go. Shut
Right.
up.
Shut up.
Random like add Game Pass tier. Can you clarify what that means? I don't know.
It's just a random like
Random. Here's
come
a
up with a
Game Pass.
random thing. No, he's not saying a game, like anything random.
No, like Game Pass.
A Game Pass tier or any other random thing you
Yeah.
can come up with. It's like
so it's like
it's
other?
like an other. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. The answer is clear.
it is.
It's A.
Yeah,
I
the
think
answer
out of
is A.
those 3, yes.
Yeah.
The answer is A. If they did A, a lot of people would be very happy and they'd be happy to buy Switch 2s. That's the answer.
Yes. If they did A, you probably could raise the console
I was
prices.
just gonna say that,
Nobody
Delvin.
would care.
I was
Yeah,
just
you
going to
could.
say that. I think you could raise it to $550, and people would not care as much because games are still only $59, and
And
that
the
looks
reason
better that it's not $70.
And the reason that they won't is because raising the game prices will make them more money than the console. A lot more.
Yes.
But for sakes of answering the question, I'm going to go with other. And I'm going to leave it there. I think they weather the storm of 80, and I think it's because developers want it to be 80, and so does Nintendo. But I'm going to say this. I think if you had done the thing I was hoping for, and you put all these upgrades and all this shit in NSO, and that's the message, and you're not doing this is 10 and this is 20 and this includes that and this, if it was just, hey, just subscribe to Nintendo Switch Online and you don't have to worry about it. If that was the message, a lot of this is a lot easier to digest, and we'd be like, yeah, games are $80, but if you're an NSO member,
You get all
I already get all that stuff for free. Exactly. I
get
think
all
that
the
would
DLC.
that would have gone a long way for all of this if they had just pulled the trigger on that. That would have made.
Because I don't feel too annoyed about the Breath of the Wild Tears of the Kingdom upgrades being $10 each, because I know I'm already getting that. I would be a little annoyed if I had to pay for the upgrade.
Yeah.
And I think that if that was just across the whole board, I know I would be more likely to go buy Kirby and the Forgotten Land right now. I would be more likely to go, buy these other things if I knew I was getting the upgrade for free.
There's still, because there's a range, there's still a lot of uncertainty. Like, will this game get an update? Will Animal Crossing get an update? Will Calamity get an update? Will Sonic Generations get an update? Will I have to pay for that update? Will it be a free update? Right? If they just fix that, I think there'd be a lot less confusion and people could get over the things they don't want to get over.
Maybe our D choice, our random, is just make it clearer. Just put out all of the straight info on Nintendo Today.
Set
just
a price.
Spell it out for us.
Yeah.
That's what I've always talked about. Consumer expectation. I should be able to expect from these products what they will cost, what they'll generally consist of. Right? That's how software sells. You kind of know what you're getting into. I'm paying $60. I'm going to get X amount of hours of this certain character and I like it. And you just keep buying it. They've just disrupted all of it. They've just like jarred everybody out of that thinking. And that's the biggest, I want to say, threat, because I don't want to oversell it. I think they're going to be fine. They're going to sell a ton of games, a ton of consoles. But the biggest threat to Switch 2 that they've done is they've introduced that doubt. Whereas if you look at Switch numbers, the best thing about Switch 1's generation is that we Switch 1 gamers have bought a shit ton of games. Not just Nintendo games, tons of games. Like, Switch games sell like nothing else. Whereas PlayStation, they're justifying, they're still trying to justify $70. Nintendo folks just buying games right after the other, one after the other. The attach rate on Switch 1 was huge. And they just jeopardized that with all of this. And I think that's the biggest issue with the Switch 2.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If they'd left everything alone, we would have bought. I'm wondering, if everybody bought 15 games, on Switch 2, does a 15 become 10 because of all this? And what does that non-5 games, what does that mean? If you start playing that down the line, there are not great consequences that come from this sort of thing. Mm-hmm. Fewer games bought. Of course, Nintendo will get all of that because people are going to buy Mario Kart over the other ones, but that means the other ones aren't getting sold. And that means developers now don't have that money, and then they could close those studios.
I agree with what XBS in chat said. Well, adding Welcome Tour, it wouldn't make me feel positively about the console in any way, but it would make me feel less angry than I am right now. It should be a pack-in game. It should,
but doing it now after everything would feel...
No, it wouldn't.
It would feel patronizing, and I think people would react negatively to it.
I think doing it after the fact, agreed. After the fact, absolutely.
Yeah.
But it did make me feel a little angry that wasn't just a pack-in game. It's $10. Come on.
Yeah, 100% with you. 100% with you. It should, it could, and it's like an instruction manual.
Yeah.
I'm still going to buy it.
I know you're going to buy it.
Cool.
I know. But that doesn't change the fact that it should be there.
Yeah. I think Nintendo would argue that, it's we worked on it. It's software, and we should, that's how Nintendo sees that sort of thing. And I do...
Jump rope challenge for free.
There is something I don't want to call it I don't want to go admirable, but Nintendo does really fight hard to be no, these software things, they're valuable. We don't cut the price. They're worth money. Whereas the rest of the industry is basically racing to zero.
Yeah.
Nintendo's really holding that line hard. So,
which I do respect that in a lot of ways.
I do too. So I'm not.
But it does get annoying. It gets annoying when they're you can't play Super Mario World 3, our 50-year-old game, without buying Nintendo Switch Online.
Yeah. I'm with you.
But I get it.
Same.
Okay. Wow. 2 hours, 20 minutes, almost 2.5 hours. I like having stuff to talk about.
I have really enjoyed having the show. I've been wanting to talk about this stuff all week. I didn't do a Donnie mini, a Donnie direct, because I was like, I'm going to save it. But I've been itching. I've been jonesing. I've been reading all these things. Like I'm
Proud of you.
I'm pumped.
It's great.
Release drop the pre-orders.
Next week, we'll be able to talk about the Mario Kart Direct, which is on the 17th. It's like its own direct. So
yeah, perhaps pre-orders by then. Who knows?
Yeah.
At the very least, hopefully we'll have some questions answered. And brag about whether we got a pre-order or not.
What are you hoping, before we leave, what are you hoping from the Mario Kart Direct? Nobody asked us that. I think that's a pretty good question. Like, before we're going into, what are you hoping for?
I don't
Anything?
know. I'm kind of just excited to see it. I just want to see it and see what it is and what all you can do in it, the characters. Just Mario Kart kind of sells itself to me personally.
Sure, I'm with you.
Yeah,
I wonder why is it having a direct? Like they have something they want to communicate to us. What is it?
More
like,
than
they're
just
not having
showing
it
the
just to
footage on
have it.
Treehouse. Yeah, because they did play some tracks on Treehouse. They showed us some of the mechanics already.
Battle mode? Is it new character? There's got to be something.
Ideally, I would think they would have that direct to justify the $80 price range.
Right.
Like, this is why it costs this much. This is what you're getting for the $80. That's what I would think, at least.
Yeah, I think, Donnie, you talked about earlier how you want to see what else can you do in the world besides drive around. Like, is it just going to be looking at things or can you actually do things? I think they're going to address that. It might not be anything super duper exciting or interesting, but I think they will. Like, I feel like that's a big part of this game. They're going to feature that a lot. And I hope that they show some kind of extra mode, whether it's a battle mode or a story mode. I think there might be some kind of story mode, and they might show it.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool.
I wonder if there's, like we talked about this before, if they could do like seasons or events. Maybe they could talk about that. Like, hey, we're going to have like these online events that are going to happen every so often. Because I really look at Mario Kart as like the service game. I'm like, how do they Splatoon this? Could they have like little... Like Splatoon has their events where you like get on teams or things like they do something like that with Mario Kart. Maybe they have a direct to explain that sort of thing. I still want to know, like, is Link in this one? Is Isabelle in this one? Are the Squid Kids here?
I'm
Like,
going to say no.
yeah, me too. Do you think they'd have paid racers?
Yes.
I can't rule it out. Like, we have 80 Mario characters here, but if you want to play as Samus, like, it's this and that.
I wouldn't even mind that, to be honest with you.
I wouldn't either.
I think that's a fair way to monetize it because you're giving me 80 free options that are like some really good ones, and like I can pay a little bit more to play as somebody else that I really like. I think that's a fair way to monetize
Here are these
it.
player packs.
It's not like you're giving me 5 to choose from and then I have to pay for all of Peach's outfits. Like, that would be annoying. That would be annoying.
Yeah. And as I say that, I feel like the response to that would be negative because it'd be like, oh, you're going to charge us more again. But I would be pretty positive on that. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah. 80 players you get in the game initially. You pay. We have these player packs that come with 5 characters or 3 characters with different skins. And you pay $20 more or $10 more for it, something like that. People buy that.
And I'm not suggesting that that's what they're going to do. I'm just trying to think.
Kind of like Smash.
I keep looking at that game like that service. Like, how do they keep it going? I'm just trying to think like...
Should add Sabrina Carpenter as a racer.
Like, can you Fortnite Mario Kart? It's kind of where my head is. Like, can you do stuff like that? Like, have little...
I just brushed over that.
No, I didn't. No, I was thinking of like...
no, absolutely not.
No. That's not what I was... Honestly, I was thinking like... When she said that, I was thinking like, that's what Fortnite Festival does. Yeah. And that's kind of where my head is. Yeah. I'm like, how do they bring people into this? Like, what's that thing? There's got to be... I feel like there's something here we don't know about.
Like, I feel like each character plays completely differently, right? Yeah. And that's not true for Fortnite, right? They might have different dances or whatever, but correct me if I'm wrong. You can do pretty much everything that you can do with all the characters. Correct. And I feel like that's the case for Mario Kart too. Like, really, the character that you pick doesn't make a huge difference. They have different weight classes, but like, it's not like Smash.
And in the new Mario Kart, or the Mario Kart world, like, you can't customize the rides anymore, right? Because you've got the land and the cruiser and the boats and stuff.
Yeah,
So
you're
you
not
can't
picking all the
do that.
wheels. You're not picking. Yeah.
So like, how can you introduce? Because like, if you think about that, again, I'm not trying to get people's hopes up. We're just hypotheticaling here. But if you think about that, and you take that Smash-like formula to kart, like over time, let's say every couple months they introduce a new character you could buy a drop, like a Fortnite. You could reach out to third parties. You could reach out, like that could be very popular. That could be very popular.
I don't see why not.
Here's the
I mean, as long as,
pack.
like I said, with Smash, it feels different because then it's like pay to win. If
And you don't have any
if you
balancing
play
issues to
differently.
do.
Yeah.
Exactly. This it's just like it does not bother
skin.
me if somebody is buying Sonic in my Mario
Dude.
Kart game because I don't care. It's not giving them any advantage. They're just playing.
If they put
somebody that
Sonic
they
in this
like.
thing and he just runs and doesn't have a cart, game of the year. Game of the fucking year.
That's what they should do. He doesn't have a card. He's Sonic. Why would he need a card?
Yeah, he's Sonic. You don't need one. And you'd be like, oh man, there's something there. Like it could be. I don't think that's what they're doing, but if they did, there's something
it is
to that.
World, right?
Yeah.
That would
And
be
it
the time
feels-
to do it.
It feels big. Like every time I see that map and kind of what they're doing, I can't not think Fortnite for whatever reason. I can't get it out of my head. It's like I feel like they're borrowing something there. Yeah. We'll
Here's
see.
the Xbox pack with Master Chief and Marcus Phoenix. Yeah. You know a lot of things.
And then people are talking about like it's $80, but then over the course of 8 years, everybody buys 7 characters. You end up paying $180.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be. And people
They're
will,
$10 each.
and people will be all in for it because look what I got for it though. People doing Fortnite all the time. I asked my son like, "Hey, how much you think you spent on this game?" He's like, "You don't want to know how much I spent on Fortnite." It's like you could have bought like 2 or 3.
Don't ask.
2 or 3 PS5 Pros.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm interested to see whatever it is. I can't wait. Mario Kart looks awesome.
Sabrina Carpenter skin via the Music Pass is 2,800 V-Bucks, which comes out to.
I don't know what that is.
Let me see. 2,800 V-Bucks is $23.
I was going to say 20. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they can definitely do $5 a pop for characters, and it would be.
I think it should be
fine.
10.
Oh my God! Don't even say it.
Yep.
That would not. That
It'll
would
be
not
10.
be fair. That would not be fair.
I would pay $10 for Link.
See, and
That's
this is why
crazy.
Rebecca.
Who would you pay $10 to play in Mario Kart? There's an even better question.
See, that's why Rebecca, because they hear Donnie and they're like, you know
Not
what?
a lot.
We could charge 10.
Not a lot.
How many? How many characters? Earthbound,
I don't think I would.
Isabel,
Nope.
Samus.
Oh.
Wow, I thought Samus would have got you.
Maybe Zelda. Not Link.
Oh,
I wouldn't pay
definitely
$10 for Link. You're telling me I would have to pay $10 for Link or Isabel that I got in 8?
I 100% would.
No. $5
Marcus
sure.
Phoenix. Commander Shepard.
Come on. Come on. They don't do anything different. They're not like Smash characters. How much were the Smash fighters individually?
I have no idea. XPS says he thinks there were $6.
John Cena.
Yeah,
I paid
$5.99.
$10 to pay John
They
Cena.
should not be more than that because they don't do anything different. They're just
We definitely don't think they will, but could you imagine if they did go like full Fortnite and you could fucking like Batman and Goku? And, oh my God, I would pay
John
a
Cena's
lot
card.
of money. I would pay a lot of money
John
for a
Cena's
lot
card
of
should just be
characters.
it just should be an empty cart.
I do wonder, like, if you can't adjust the carts and stuff, like, is there, and every character has a bunch of costumes, is there like some unique personality thing that you can do for the game? You know?
Right.
Emotes.
Anyway,
I don't know. I'm going to
Something.
be the cow
Something.
either way.
Luigi Death Stare.
kind of, yeah, like I am kind of here for the cow though. Like I've always mained Yoshi as my thing, but once I saw Moo Moo, I was like, yeah, I'm kind of in though. Is everybody going to be the cow? Because
I know.
maybe
I wish
won't
that
be.
it wasn't so popular. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I need kind of my own.
Kind of, you're right.
I wish
yeah.
that this was not like a thing.
Like we
So-
go to start up our first race, there's 9 cows. We're like,
Everybody's
oh
cows.
God, never
Yes,
mind.
Exactly.
pretty much.
So
I'm gonna be
my
proud of-
backup for cow is Fishbone. Just nobody else
Ooh.
take Fishbone.
Now we got to take Fishbone.
No.
You said it. You can't
She's
put
a
that out to the internet
trendsetter.
and think they're not going to do it.
Goes, I got Fishbone.
They don't care about that.
Dibs. Just call it dibs.
Yeah.
Can't do it. That's the rules. It's dibs.
Exactly. See, Donnie gets it. You understand the rules.
Like, I want to buy a Kirby Air Ride cart in Mario Kart World.
See, that would be cool crossover.
See? Ah, man, there's good stuff here.
That's the kind of stuff I wish they did with Splatoon.
And we know they're never going to do it.
Like, it would be cross-promoting the games. Maybe if I got Kirby Air Ride as a racer in Mario Kart, and be like, wow, this is cool. I should go check out
go buy that
Kirby
game.
Air Ride. Like,
That'd
it
be so
makes
good.
sense. You don't need anybody's permission. It's your IP.
That'd be so good.
That's too easy. That's too easy.
They're not going to do it, but man, it would
much.
be a lot of fun though if they did.
Yeah, it's too much now.
All right, my little tangent's gone on long enough. I enjoyed the show. Really, guys, this was fun. Good show.
It was a good show. We'll talk about Mario Kart more next week, I'm sure.
Yep.
After we talk about the direct. All right, Koopalings, stay safe. We'll see you next time.
Drop the pre-order
Whenever you're ready.
All right. This is Frederick from Fire Emblem Awakening. And I forgot the line already. What?